Alright.
One, two. When you're leaving.
Alright. Apologies for the silence. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, apologies, okay. Just a slight technical difficulty, okay. In tune, and let me see if I can just turn down the music. Alright, okay, so keep it locked in and tuned in. Send me these texts and let me know how I'm sounding. The telephone numbers are 074 043 67618. I repeat, 074 043 67618. Alright, so yeah, I don't know what's happening there, okay? But let's see if I can get everything up and running. Okay, hold on. Okay, so yeah, so I want to big up the management team, and I want to big up D-Roll, Ross Wonder, Stepper, and all the DJs and radio presenters. DJ Riggs, I want to big up every time. Okay, safe journey. And I want to say, Rob William, that you're in good spirits, you're in the best of health, and life is definitely treating you well. Alright? So, one of the things I want to talk about before I actually get into my topic, okay, is you notice that in what I could call in the upper echelon of society, okay, the way people get down in the parliamentary system, yeah, where they're able to use privileges, okay, and allow other people to use their privileges right there in that circle, yeah, in the political circle, in that political arena, because that's where it's happening, yeah. Now, two things I'm going to highlight, two things very quickly I'm going to highlight, okay, before I actually get into my topic, alright? Because what I want to do, I want to cover up last week's last hour, where I was just, the show was totally wrecked, okay, because I was getting some bad interference, alright? And I want to apologize for that. I want to apologize for the silence, okay, and the technical difficulties that we just recently experienced, alright? Now, the two things I want to highlight this story that came out in the mainstream recently, yeah, to do with this character called Sir Phillip Green, alright? Now, we're in London, South London, we're actually live here, and we like to talk about things that are happening right now, yeah, generally speaking. And I want to thank all those people out there that's tuned in and locked in and sharing information out there, letting us know what's happening, because I think it's important that we always keep our lines of communication open, alright? And yeah, just keep on doing that, keep on giving us information out there, sharing information. I think it's very, very important and it's necessary, okay? So we need to keep an eye out for each other and one another, and let other people be aware of what's going on, so we can protect ourselves, okay? And we can protect our children and our family and everybody as a whole in the community, yeah? We have to look out for each other, yeah? And we have to be on our guard as to what's going on out there, and I think that's important. Now, to say that we have people who are in business, for example, or in industry, who make a lot of money, in corporations, okay? They have interests in companies and things of that nature, right? They're running around and just having board meetings. You've got these kind of characters, okay, that they're just shuffling around paper, and basically they're controlling a lot of employees, okay? Now, Sir Phillip Green recently has been exposed again. It's not the first time, yeah? As you know, for some of you people know, he had some issues to do with British Home Store, okay? And to do with, I don't know, but obviously it's to do with money. And I don't know if he was bleeding the pension pot. I don't know. He was definitely had his hands in something where he was fiddling money, okay, and taking advantage of his own business, generally speaking, yeah. And people do this a lot, yeah. People do things like this a lot, where they use their business as a form of legal business, a legit business, as you could say, yeah. And then they may use their business as a front or a fence to offshore money, or find ways to fiddle the system so they can make more money. So you got one side where it's like a Jekyll and Hyde sort of personality. One side they're being good, they claim to be doing good by employing people, yeah, and giving people jobs. But at the same time, the other side of their personality is that they're trying to see if they can like extort or fiddle or swindle, yeah, as much money out of his business, or things to do with his business, as much as possible. And this goes on a lot. And you see now, once again, he's been exposed around some allegations to do with sex and race abuse, okay? And this is what they're calling it, yeah? So I'm looking at this article right here from the Mirror, here in England, British Isles, and it says here, Chloe Green stays silent as Dad Philip is named as businessman at centre of sex and race abuse scandal. Alright? Yeah, he was named in Parliament as a businessman at the centre of a sex and race abuse scandal. His daughter Chloe has remained silent. I don't know what it's got to do with his daughter, right? But it says here, the 27-year-old who is heiress to Philip's £1 billion fortune stayed away from social media as her father hit the headlines on Thursday. So, I'm not going to read all the article, but it's just giving you an idea what is taking place, how these people get down, yeah? And often you find these things happen a lot, yeah? But they don't get a lot of attention, or people don't expose those kind of people, okay? But one of the things that was interesting about some of the stuff that was coming out, yeah? Now, we don't know if everything is true, yeah? But then you have to suspect some of the things that's going on here, yeah? Because what they're saying is he's actually buying people's silence, right? So that if there isn't, say for example, and someone has made an allegation, or if somebody says they're going to actually report him to the police, okay, before that happens, he's going to find a way, get his lawyers, okay, probably, to find a way to buy those people's silence, okay? And this is one of the controversies that's been coming out of it, yeah? And that he's been exposed in respect to the fact that he's buying those victims silence, yeah? And the thing that people are saying was that it's wrong, yeah? And you know, this is how these people get down, yeah? That's why you might not hear it, but it happens a lot where people are paying for the damage that they've done or the damage that they've left behind, yeah? They're paying for it while the victim is suffering in silence. Yeah, they may get paid, they may get some money, but they're suffering in silence because they're not getting probably counselling or, you know, some sort of treatment towards some sort of therapy or anything like that, yeah? So they're actually having to live out that experience of being victimized by somebody that generally you say has got a lot of power, yeah? And he's prepared to use it. And not only use it, but abuse it, right? So now, this just shows you, right? This is not what we don't. Just say that we're coming from the motherland, yeah. We're African Caribbean people, we're black people, African people, African heritage people, yeah. Now, I'm not saying that we haven't got black people who are cropped, because we have. Yeah, we've got black people who are cropped. There's no doubt about that, yeah? Because, you know, this is, as far as I'm saying it from my view, okay? This is not our system, yeah? We did not make this system up, yeah? We may participate in the system and all these different things, that's fine, yeah? But, you know, to say that we shaped and molded the system the way it is, okay? You know, we're far from that, yeah? We're not even on the negotiating tables in terms of how we'll be able to power share the power in the world in terms of influencing laws and policy. That's not happening right now, yeah? I don't see any African or Caribbean country actually doing that. In fact, they're actually doing the opposite, because you find that a lot of these countries, they've signed up to clubs or some sort of fraternity, you know what I'm saying? So they got no, you know, their interest is with that club or that fraternity, and they're not really independent, are they? Yeah? So what I'm saying is that we're black people, African and Caribbean countries tend to be following European democracy, yeah, and European societies and norms and values and principles and their laws and policies, yeah. When is that going to change, or should that change? Well, I personally think so. Yes, it should do. Yeah, I think that needs to change, and we're going to talk about that as time goes by. Yeah, but the reason why I'm highlighting this story, I'm taking away from the topics that we need to be dealing with. All right, when we're talking about ourselves, when we need to be looking at ourselves. Okay, but what I'm saying is, yeah, this is a perfect example of a two-tier system. Yeah, this is a two-tier system. Poor people get away with very, very little. Yeah, get away with very, very little. Yeah, and they're punished for that as well. Yeah, it could be the smallest thing. They're gonna get punished for it. But you find that these people, yeah, when they get to a certain level, yeah, they flaunt the law. Yeah, they feel after a while that they're even above the law because they're protected. Yeah, they have a certain amount of privilege. He's Sir Phillip Green. I think that maybe, you know, he's got a title. Why is it that you find that some of the most unsavory people get rewarded? Yeah, what's happening with the Queen's list of rewards and who she's rewarding? Yeah, maybe she needs. Maybe the Queen. I don't know. Maybe it's not the Queen that does it, but maybe the people that administrates for the Queen that suggest who should be rewarded, they don't do the background checks on these characters, right? Because I'm telling you, some of these people that's you know, have got titles and, you know, and have been rewarded or got awards and all this stuff about titles and rewards and all this stuff. Let me touch on this. Yeah, it's to do with that buffer zone that they put right there to keep the poor people in check. Yeah, do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, and then like when you get to a certain level, you're allowed, doors are going to be opening, so you're allowed to do something. They allow you to, you get the best opportunities in business. Yeah, you get the prime, you get the cream of the cream. All the politicians, right? Most of them got businesses. They're running businesses. You got to be on a certain level, innit? Yeah. So you quickly learn how to catch up or catch speed up to what a lot of the culture's all about. Yeah. So you got your own business. Yeah. And then like you get other people to run your business for you. Yeah. You get your family involved. You get friends involved. You know, it's all about who you know. It's about those connections. Yeah. And it's very, what you call, a lot about favoritism. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back, and all of this stuff. That's what goes on. There's a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes that I think a lot of people can see it, but you know, because it's not like exposed so much in the mainstream doesn't talk about it every single day. Yeah. So that people get really programmed into that. Yeah. They may touch on it now and then you just forget about it. Alright? And most people do forget about it, or they're too busy interested with their life, right, paying their own bills and trying to, you know, keep a roof over their head. They're not bothered about these people. Yeah? But these people, these types of characters is why the world is the way it is. It's so messed up. Because this shows you the type of corruption and the level of corruption that we're talking about. Yeah? And time again, this person has been exposed. Yeah? And sometimes what happens, right, you keep on taking advantage of the system, you keep on doing bad things, or you keep on doing things that are wrong, and eventually one day it'll catch up on you, right? But the reason why these people keep on doing it and getting away with it, right, is because they're allowed to. There's no accountability. You see what I'm saying? There's no accountability, right? And there's a lot of issues with this whole thing, because the person's buying a victim's silence with money, right? And that goes on a lot. Yeah, they call it bribery. Yeah. So, you know, just to highlight that once again, yeah, you see, right, how these people in, you know, a certain class, you can see this is a class thing, isn't it? Yeah, like, yeah, there's different what they call classes, but there's only really two classes, isn't it? Yeah, there's only two classes. There's the rich and the poor, right? This is the two-tier system. Yeah, they try to make this middle ground to keep poor people in check, to keep these people, so they can spy on these people and inform on these people. Yeah. So they give them the rewards, keep him nice, keep him like sweet, so to speak. Yeah. So they keep their mouth shut, hush. Because now those people in the middle, say the middle ground, right? They're not like right at the top of the tree. Yeah. but they're just below it, right? These people just below it, they're trying to do everything to get to the top, of the tree, to climb to the tree. And then, some people go to some lengths and depths to get there. And some of the things that goes on, right, especially, and eventually I'm going to be talking about, especially to do with all this stuff to do with the brotherhood, right? Secret societies, Freemasonry, all these different fraternities and, boys' clubs, and these things to do with unknown entities, okay? So you find even in that, like, you'd be surprised of, like, what people get up to just to keep things quiet. Hush. Yeah? And a lot of that goes on. This is a real bad behavior. Yeah? Because this is what makes the world a very bad world. Very bad indeed. Very corrupt. And I think that I don't know if it's not going to stop now, is it? It's not going to stop for a while, is it? That's just something that's going to keep on happening. Yeah. How's this system going to change? How's people's behaviors going to change? Okay. How's that going to happen? I don't know. Yeah. But obviously things have to change. So there is those people who do take advantage of the system, or who are taking advantage of people, right? And abusing people. Because, these are, as an employer, you see, you find employers, okay, they are responsible for a certain amount of employees, okay, and they may feel, right, I can take advantage of some of these members of my work fraternity, because now it becomes like his fraternity now, isn't it? Yeah, his place where he thinks he can do what he wants, or she can do what they want, yeah, and really take advantage of people. And I think it's wrong, yeah. And we can't be talking in this country. We can't be talking about what goes on in the United States of America, especially in Hollywood and different places around in the Americas, and we don't look at what's going on in our own backyard and these types of behavior. Yeah. Now we don't know. We're not sure what the racial abuse is all about. Yeah. Who's he talking about? Or are they talking about black people, Asian people? What are we talking about? Does anybody know? Yeah, I'm interested. If you've got anything to say, any comments, you're welcome to call Genesis here on Sayshara, the late night show, 074 043 67618. Yeah? And just to remind people that I'm only highlighting this, yeah? Just to let you know that this is the example of a two-tier system, where this person has been in the media for being a bad character, generally speaking, yeah? And maybe all these things are allegations, or said allegations, yeah? And like I said, we don't know how many things this person's got away with. Just one or two things have been exposed or been highlighted, yeah, where he's been exposed by one or two individuals. Yeah, that's all it takes. It takes people, it takes the will of people to really start to take the courage to be able to actually expose somebody and not get paid off. Yeah, I think when people get paid off, when you take somebody's money, somebody abuses you, or I don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, when they're talking about, these sexual allegations, I don't they're saying unlawful sexual allegations, okay? What are they talking about there? Yeah? But we'll see, we'll find out as time goes by, as the plot thickens, yeah? And, whoever it is, or maybe it's maybe one or two people that they're going to say enough is enough, yeah, and do something actually about it, yeah. Maybe the tables are turning, and some of his own people may be saying, look, you know what, you've gone too far, yeah, you're on your own now, we're not going to do anything for you, you're just going to have to go through the process, and you're going to have to be held accountable, yeah. It says here, look, what does it say here? It says here, look, let me just touch on what it says here. I'm going to the real important part about this week. So Philip was named as a businessman allegedly using a gagging order to prevent publication of allegations of harassment and bullying in the workplace. He later broke his silence to categorically and wholly deny allegations of unlawful sexual and racist behaviour. In a statement, after he was named in Parliament as a businessman behind an injunction against the Daily Telegraph, Sir Phillip Green said, I'm not commenting on anything that has happened in court or was said in Parliament today, to the extent that he suggested that I've been guilty of unlawful sexual or racist behaviour. I categorically and wholly deny these allegations. Arcadia and I take accusations and grievances from employees raised and in the event that one is raised, it is thoroughly investigated. Arcadia employs more than 20,000 people and in common with many large businesses sometimes receives formal complaints from employees. In some cases, these are settled with the agreement of all parties and their legal advisors. These settlements are confidential, so I cannot comment further on them. You know what? One of the things that was coming out that they were saying is that yeah, it's true that if you're working, they can do these settlement agreements in the business, in on site, so to speak. Yeah, they can settle the agreement between all parties with their legal advisors. Yeah, and then one of the things that they were saying that came out, it just come to me now, is the gagging thing. Yeah, the gagging order is the way it's stipulated. Just off the top of my head, or just off, from what I'm seeing for what it is, yeah, they're saying that you have to sign some agreement, some letter stating that you won't say anything. You have to keep silent, or you're not allowed to say anything. Is that right or wrong? Is that right or wrong? Yeah. Or is that really going too far? In fact, is that going too far? In some cases, yeah. Now, you're going to hear a lot more coming out from there. I think maybe with this Sir Phillip Green and his said allegations of sex and racial abuse towards his employees, maybe there may be other people that's who knows how far this thing goes. But the thing I'm saying is that this sort of stuff happens a lot in the corporate world, in the political world, I think in most worlds. It's just happening all the time, isn't it? It's just part of the culture. Yeah, it's part of the culture, right? So I don't know. Are they going to sweep this one underneath the rug? I don't know. Yeah, but I think we're living in different times. I think more people are more challenging and more willing to go all the way to expose people now more than ever. Yeah, it's all about exposing people now, because I think people are saying enough is enough. But I think again, this should be debated in Parliament. Sort of things like this should be debated in Parliament. Yeah, it shouldn't go just on this one individual. It should be like, yeah, well, we need to debate this so this stops full times. Maybe they say, well, we can't really stop it. We can't really stop employees taking advantages of their employees. How can we stop it? You can stop it if you know how to monitor things, if you inspect things and things are put in place so that laws are stringently there to protect employees, okay, and protect people as a whole. Yeah. I'm gonna jump to now the next thing that's I find shows that we're living in a two-tier system once again, yeah? Because you won't hear, you're going to hear more and more of these things as you go on. But what I'm saying is that there is one law for one group of people and another law for another group of people, yeah? Mostly from what I can see, most poor people do the least things and get punished the most for it, yeah? Whereas people, when they get to a certain place or a certain level of status, like, they become people who have got titles, yeah, like Sir Phillip Green, yeah? You may have millions, maybe billions, you may be a millionaire, billionaire. You actually join in the millionaire club or the billionaire club, and you get access to different forms of information. Yeah, you get access to some top pound information. It's all about business, right? And so what I'm saying is that a lot of people who have connections with the politicians, those people in the parliamentary system, and not just politicians, the whole institution across the board, right across the board. You really have to look at the parliamentary system and look how it's made up. The Lords and the Lord Chambers, and it's this, and everyone's getting paid by the taxpayer. You got a very old system right there. Cost billions to run, and people's getting paid for things. It's so much privilege it's ridiculous, yeah. And like, I don't know, that I think there needs to be some reform right there, yeah. But maybe that's not my business. Nothing to do with me, right? It's got nothing to do with me, Sayshara. It's got nothing to do with you, right? You can see these things and don't get involved, right? Don't get involved with that, right? But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, this has got to stop, hasn't it? Because this affects poor people. This type of things, he's not the only one that's doing it. Yeah, he's just one person that's been exposed recently. Yeah. Now there's another thing that's, like I said, that's similar, that's come out in the mainstream. Let's touch on the mainstream stuff before actually getting to my topic. But I just wanted to highlight this because, again, this shows you that we live in a two-tier system. Once again, there's one law for one group, another law for another group. The whole thing to do with this Saudi Arabia case, where you see it's caused this incident with this person that got killed recently. I didn't really follow the story that much. I'm not really interested in it, to tell the truth. But what was interesting for me when I'm hearing these sound bites coming out of these people's mouths is the fact that they're going to still do business with Saudi Arabia. They don't care if Saudi Arabia kills people. they're still going to do business with them. That's what I'm saying to you. It's all about business. They don't care about people's lives. Yeah? It's all about business. And you're going to see that people, you know, like governments, okay? I should say, not people, just say governments, state governments, alright? They got a responsibility, yeah? You got organizations, they got a responsibility, like the United Nations. I keep on going on about the United Nations, don't I? Yeah? And good reason for that. The good reason for that is that you got a lot of these organizations that claim to be doing things for the world as a whole, yes, claiming to protect people and protect humanity and conserve, you know, and look after people's environment. And yeah, they make, you know, they claim to be doing a lot of stuff, right? But then when things really happen, when there's a real diplomatic incident, you never see them get involved. You never hear them say anything. Yeah, they keep their mouth shut, right? And it's the same thing again, right? If that was a poor country, if a poor country has done that, just imagine what would happen. You're getting sanctioned, isn't it? Or they might even bomb you. If you don't do certain things, they're just like, it's an excuse to just attack you, isn't it? Yeah? And I think there's so much disparities with this system, and how there's so much favoritism between one country to another, right? There's, you know, some countries just get away with a lot of stuff. They're just going to get away with it. Saudi Arabia gets away with a lot of stuff. Why? Why am I having to go at Saudi Arabia? Why am I having to go at Saudi Arabia? Why? Because it's in the media right now. It's in the mainstream media. People can see that, right? People talk about this all the time, yeah? And governments don't take no notice. They don't really care. This government is complicit in actually supplying Saudi Arabia for years. I think I went through all that stuff, okay, to do with how much military weapons of mass destruction that these countries were stockpiling. I think I've done the top 10 or something like that. Yeah? And it's very interesting. And I think out of it, China came top number one. I think they said by 2020 or something like that, that they was going to overtake the United States of America. Because, you know, they're competing against each other to actually maintain having the most advanced weapons, having the most weapons, having the fastest weapons, you name it. Yeah, China, Russia, and America, and obviously England and France, and a lot of these European countries. Okay, they're all competing against each other, right? So they're always talking about protecting their country, yeah. And so these sort of things keep on going on, where you'll have so much people, when, like I said, you know, the rich, you know, the ruling classes, the elite, upper class, aristocrats, whatever you want to call it, these people, yeah, they're just like, they don't care about people's lives, do they, really? Do they? Yeah? And, you know, people's lives are lost all over the world, yeah? Things go on all the time. People get raped, you know, and robbed, and so many things are happening, yeah? But there's no accountability when it comes to these people at the top. There are very rare, very few accountability, yeah? So now they're saying there now, in this same article I'm reading about this whole thing, yeah? What is... Now, I didn't know it had anything to do with World Wrestling Entertainment. Has been blasted by fans following its decision to go ahead with an event. Right, so the World Wrestling Entertainment, right, it's going... Oh, so now... So yeah, so yeah, the World Wrestling Entertainment's getting some stick because they're actually gonna carry on with doing their, I would imagine, their bouts, yeah, or they're gonna be doing the carrying on with the wrestling entertainment, yeah, because it's entertainment. So what they call it? WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, yeah. So it's business as usual according to this, yeah. It says, look, the World Wrestling Entertainment has been blasted by fans following its decision to go ahead with an event in Saudi Arabia amid ongoing investigations into the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Khashoggi or Khashoggi. Yeah. It says here from the Saudi Washington Post, columnist who lived in self-imposed exile was killed at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on October the 2nd. It says rioters' handling of the issue, as well as allegations that the Saudi government was behind the assassination, have led to a significant boycott of the kingdom. It says there they admitted that Ryder admitted that Khashoggi had been killed almost 3 weeks after he went missing at the diplomatic building. Earlier this week, Saudi prosecutors said the murder was premeditated, contradicting an earlier Saudi claim that the journalist was killed during a scuffle. You see, so they straight away they lie, innit? Yeah? They lie, feed misinformation or disinformation to the press so people can forget about it. So, yeah, that's... You see, is there a movement around it? They're saying this did that. I don't know why they're saying they're calling it blood money. There's blood money. So they're saying it's blood money. So, yeah, blood money is to do with the fact that this country, Saudi Arabia, is boiled in blood, yeah, killing somebody, and yeah, there may be a movement against it, yeah. I don't know if it's going to be effective or not. I think all governments around the world are supposed to take responsibility, but they're not. They're not really doing anything, are they? I think all they're interested in is getting Saudi Arabia's money because they all getting paid, innit? Yeah? They've already got deals with Saudi Arabia, innit? It's already there. And then there's future deals, you know what I'm saying, that they're looking to get as well. Alright? So you find, I'll tell you what's happening. You find that every council member of the United Nations, yeah, the leading council members, the 5 leading council members, they all got business with Saudi Arabia. I'm guaranteed, without even me looking at it, yeah, we know, yeah, they all got business with them. So they're not interested. The United Nations is not going to be interested in that, yeah? All the countries supposed to be saying something because really they're supposed to say, well, that shouldn't really happen, innit? Because that could happen to one of their people, yeah? And that shows that in another way, it says that you're not safe in Saudi Arabia as well. I mean, a journalist is not safe in that country. Is that what they're saying? What's going on there? Yeah? So, once again, we'll see how this thing pans out between this country and all of the stuff to do with Phillip Green. And we'll see how this whole thing pans out, because this country's complicit in supplying arms to Saudi Arabia. while at the same time Saudi Arabia's bombing Yemen, and no one's talking about that. And you notice that the press, the media in this country don't report what goes on in Yemen. They don't talk about it. They talk about loads of other stuff, but the stuff in that's going on in Yemen, no one talks about that. No one talks about it, so no one knows what's going on there. Yeah, that shows you, yeah, once again, bias reporting. It's just that's what it is. Yeah, it's just right there. They don't care. Yeah, if the press don't care, the media don't care, right? Your government don't care about supplying and use that same arm. That's blood money. That's blood money. You're supplying these people. You claim, a lot of people saying that there's a lot of human rights abuses. Not just that they're bombing you man. They in their own country. How are the people being treated? Yeah, especially foreigners. Many times I've heard a story of not just a story, but factual things that happen to people, right? That where some of our own people are affected, and they're treated very, very badly. And I think a lot of things go on with some of our people that's not being reported in that country called Saudi Arabia. Some things have been reported, but I think a lot of it has gone unreported. Yeah, and in fact, I don't think we're doing enough in terms of reporting some of the things that does go on and happen with some of our people in different countries around the world. Yeah, and I think any individual life is just as important as anybody else's life, no matter where they go or where they are. Right? But I think there's a lot of human rights abuses that goes on in a lot of countries, and that you may have the United Nations and all these so-called organizations that deal with human rights, but it just seems like it's an endless task, or the people are actually supposed to be doing the work to protect the rights of those people and actually doing it, right? And it's just never ending. It's just never ending. It just never stops. All right, so let me just pause there and let me just say, for those people that's tuned in, that the telephone numbers are 074-043-67618. Now, all right, so just put that aside. I just thought I'd just tag that, just give you an idea, yeah, that if anybody thinks that we live in a good system, right, and it's working perfectly, that's just giving you an idea where it's going wrong, right? And it's happening all over the place, yeah? Because the people that claim to be doing the things that they're supposed to be doing, they're not doing it. They're not actually doing it. Yeah, they're turning a blind eye. You can find out all these organizations are supposed to be doing things okay, doing certain things, right? They just turn a blind eye to all of this stuff, right? I'm not saying that there ain't good people out there that's doing things, because there is, right? But I just don't think there's enough. And when you get favoritism over the victims, yeah, you know, the victims are not treated fairly or in a proper manner or proper way, and countries are treated like that as well. Countries are being victimized. I think Yemen's being victimized, and I don't see United Nations going in there with a peacekeeping you know, army and trying to stop all that. Why aren't they stopping all that? What? No one cares about that. You know what I'm saying? It's just allowed, just keep on giving Saudi Arabia all these arms, keep on giving them, pour all the arms, As long as they got the money, we'll just buy the weapons. Don't just kill as many people. They're not our people, so why we run about them? They're not our people. Why we run about them? We're not worried about that. And you know, one of the things that come out of it as well, yeah? This is how arrogant some people are. They're just heartless. Got no conscience, yeah? All they can talk about, oh, you know, if we get rid of some of these weapons, well, you know, 20,000 people is going to lose their jobs because, you know, that's part of the industry. So what? So what if you know, if they lose their jobs for making weapons of mass destruction, right? We shouldn't be living in a system where people should be employed on the premise of killing people. You're a part of that. Just be real about that. You're saying that you're a part of that. You got people that report this or commentate on this, okay? Or the way the mainstream media reports this sort of stuff, right? It's like they're trying to ram it down your throat, right? Yeah? They're saying that they don't really care. It's business. Right? So what if it's going to kill how many thousands of people, women and children? So what? It's not us, is it? Why are we worrying about that? That's what really hurts. It's the fact that these people don't care. Right here in this country. Yeah? They think that these people probably deserve to die. Do you get what I'm saying? Because why are you defending that? Why would you defend that? Why would you say that, oh, you need to protect jobs, industries, over people's lives? Yeah? So they're going to, I mean, how many, I think it's 6 billion a year this country actually sells some arms. Yeah, some arms. Yeah, they don't sell all the arms, but they sell them a good 6 billion worth of arms. Right? That's a contract that's going to keep them busy for a couple of years or something like that. Yeah? And as long as they keep them sweet, every year Saudi Arabia will just keep on coming to them. Right? And that's like money in the bank. Yeah? It's the same thing with Donald Trump. Even Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, they're not bothered. They're not saying nothing. Right? So, to me, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, that just shows you what state that we're living in 2018, the behavior of world leaders. It's appalling. It's appalling. And there's this thing that goes out, and we, you know, maybe in time as we go along, we're going to go into that. But there's this thing called silent weapons, quiet wars. And it's really, really deep stuff, yeah? And it's a lot of information, right? You can get the information as well. And I really do need to look at it before I present you the information, yeah? But just to give you a little idea of what it's about, you can go and check it out for yourself, right? If you catch up what I'm saying, yeah? Silent weapons, quiet wars. Because they're, you know, United Nations was created to prevent a World War III, right? So they said, oh, we get all the world leaders together and we'll, you know, we'll just create an environment of peace where we can keep peace by negotiating amongst ourselves, the world leaders. We just sit down together. Sounds like a brilliant idea, fantastic idea, in fact. Yeah, we'll just come together, yeah, to avoid world peace, right? And that was from 1945 onwards. But what's happened is, yeah, the United Nations have built a plethora, a spider web of organizations on top of organizations on top of they've got organization affiliations with organizations for every single thing. For everything. Yeah? So they're covering everything that they can possibly cover when it comes to controlling the world or what's going on in the world. Yeah? And even though there isn't a World War III, in a way, because it's so, we are living in World War III. This is the World War III environment. It's you. It's you. You're actually, they're going to war at you, with you, the mass popular, right? But it's a quiet war, isn't it? It's quiet. You don't know. It's subtle. They don't need to go around. All right, there's a few conflicts here. That goes towards it. There's conflicts all over the place, right? And maybe not so much in Europe. Yeah? And, you know, there's conflicts in other places outside of Europe. Yeah? Where weapons are flowing quite freely to fuel, you know, the weapons of mass destruction industry, because you got to sell those arms, yeah, to keep the industry going. And a lot of these countries, like I said, United Nations countries, especially the leading council members, the 5 leading council members, they all make weapons. So they've got an interest, they've got a vested interest to sell these weapons, right? Yeah, and that's going to help to build or to sustain their economy. This is what it's all about. It's business again, yeah? But what I'm saying is that how is that behavior going to change, yeah? And if people can't see what's going on, right? If people can't see what's going on, if they do see what's going on, or how much awareness can we raise to tell people this is what's going on, yeah? I think I want to big up the people that's phoned in. I mean, last week somebody said that they're putting snakes, China's putting snakes, feeding us snakes in saltfish, right? I mean, it's hard to swallow. People might be hearing this and go, Sayshara, what are you talking about? Saltfish, snake and saltfish, what are you talking about, yeah? And they might think, oh, that's nothing. Oh, what? That's just one piece of food, isn't it? Yeah? But that's a direct hit. That's a direct hit on you. Right? It's not saying something that you should take lightly. It's a thing like, if one of the things that we've been saying is, look, our health is very important, yeah? Our health is our wealth, okay? So, African and Caribbean countries meant to come together, right? Regardless of history, regardless of other groups of people and what they're saying, you meant to stand for your people by feeding your people the best foods possible. When I see governments in the Caribbean and Africa coming from where we come from, we are the original people on the planet Earth. When I see, these are the things that I'll talk about all day long, yeah? Because this is a massive conspiracy, isn't it? Yeah? When you see your own black African Caribbean governments, right? When we look at ourselves, we can reflect on ourselves. We look at ourselves, we know who we are, right? But maybe we don't know where we're coming from, but it doesn't matter, because when I look at you or we look at each other, we know who we are, right? And we should respect that. We should respect ourselves and each other for that, yeah? And put away our differences and think about what's best for the majority of our people. That's why I'm saying that we can't keep on following this system and following the system and following the system while the majority of our people are suffering out there. And this is a fact. It's all right for some of us here in this country, yeah, we live a certain standard of a lifestyle, okay? We've got clean water, even though the water's crap anyway. And you know that, especially in London, the water's really hard in London, yeah? It's full of, what they call, limestone or whatever, yeah? And fluoride and all this stuff, okay? It's hard water, okay? The further you go up the country, the softer it is, yeah? But what I'm saying is, yeah, we've got a certain lifestyle here. Yeah, we've got clean water, we've got electricity, you know what I'm saying? We've got gas to keep us warm because we need to keep warm in a cold country, especially like now. It's freezing, yeah? And, you know what I'm saying? Compared to the Caribbean and Africa in certain places, yeah, we don't have to worry about certain things, yeah? But we still do need to worry about our health, no matter where we are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we haven't got electricity, gas, and but we do need clean water, yeah? But at the same time, no matter where we are, we need clean water and we need natural, healthy foods. We don't need poisons, yeah? So why are you joining up the United Nations? Why are you joining up the Commonwealth, yeah? You got to stand for your people. You can't be working this system and telling me this is a good system while you're killing off your own people. You're doing it. The leaders in the Caribbean and Africa, yeah? Let's be clear on this, yeah? Let's be clear on this. They are responsible and they're accountable for the actions, yeah? And as far as I'm concerned, Caribbean and African countries don't need corporations coming in there and taking advantage. Okay? This is what goes on. Oh, we're poor, you know what I'm saying? And so because we're poor, you got these poor leaders. Remember, I got some stuff to talk about to do with poor, weak, bad leadership. And it goes from the political arena right down to the grassroots people. Yeah? And the different types of leadership that we got in these different places. The leadership in the church, the black churches. We've got some really poor leadership there. I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying wherever we are, I'm not saying everywhere you go, we've got poor leadership. But I'm just saying, yeah, that it's just terrible, isn't it? Yeah? When you can't get these leaders to come together and they can't say to you that they're going to feed their people so that their people are going to get good, healthy foods, which they got on the land, and you can grow in the abundance. Right? But we're following this system. We're following this system. We've got the leaders out there, as long as they do deal with these corporations, okay? And these corporations come in and what they do, they abuse your country. They abuse your laws and they abuse your policy. They abuse the people. They abuse your land. They abuse your resources. They abuse your children. They abuse your women. Can I go on? Yeah? So these leaders, right? The leaders in African, right now in African countries and the Caribbean countries, if you're not feeding your people healthy foods, and if you're not stopping the crap coming in, you got to stop. You can't tell me that you don't have your own borders. You can't protect your own borders. You can't protect what goes in to your country. What are you talking about? That's the least that you're supposed to do. The least that these governments are supposed to do, right, is grow your own foods. But no, they want to follow the United Nations. Unsustainable, no, I should say it should be, it's unsustainable, but it's not. They're talking about sustainable development. It's unsustainable development they're talking about. Yeah, because they're not doing anything, innit? It's just smart words, right? So what I'm saying is, yeah, our leaders, they're just violating. They're violating the majority of our people, right? And these are the leaders that these countries want. They want these leaders that where corporations will come in and just take advantage and do what they want. They want those kind of leadership. Yeah, they don't want a strong leader that's going to say, look, we'll take that, but we won't take that. You know, you're gonna be very selective about what you're gonna bring into your country, and you're gonna be very selective of what you're gonna give. Yeah, but we take the rubbish and we give them all the. It's like we take all the crap. Can you imagine this? This is what these governments do. We're getting the crap, the rubbish stuff. They're giving us the rubbish stuff while they're giving the good stuff. Does that make sense? Straight up, man. So we got our own agenda, right? The black agenda, which is all about reorganizing ourselves. Yeah, re-establishing ourselves. Yeah, rebuilding ourselves. And that agenda is going to be based around educating our people for social, political, our own resources, cultural, scientific, and technological development. All right? So I'm going to quickly go through what I missed last week, all right? To do with the world's largest biometric ID system, which keeps on getting active. Now, the reason why I'm going to talk about this quickly, yeah, I want people to take note, because in Jamaica, as you know, they're rolling out the Nids, and I was looking at, is there another country that's doing it? Can't be just this country that's doing it. Why Jamaica? Right? Why is it Jamaica's, out of all the islands, why is it that just Jamaica's doing it? Why are they testing it, or you know, it's a test case, or is it they're experimenting? What they doing? What they trying to do there, man? Because there's a lot of things that's going on. I'm going to be talking about that, yeah? That the technology that's been going on out there now, okay, it's one of the things that we have to be very, very wary of. We have to be wary of because now they're going to be talking about, soon they're going to be talking about making smart cities and using a lot of artificial intelligent technology. That's the way it's going now, right now, yeah? And we're going to have to be very, very careful about what's going on, yeah? Now, I'm just going to read this article quickly, yeah? Because this is what Jamaica's going to be having to look forward to, and in the sense that there's going to be a good probability that the same thing that's happening to India right now, and remember, this system is not really an old system, but maybe they might be using this system, and who knows, they might bring the same system there, or there might be a different system where they may have tweaked it to improve it based on what's going on in India. We don't know, but it doesn't matter what happens. It's going to happen. They're going to find a way to take that data and then abuse the data. So we've got to find a way to protect our data, because this is what's happening right now. Yeah? It's all about information, right? And they're going to find a way to gather information. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to, this is like the next step before actually giving you maybe a chip. This could be it. The next step before a chip. Now, one of the things I was asking is, how much does this cost? Can Jamaica afford this at this point in time? I don't think so. Jamaica can't afford this system. They got no money. They're in debt. They're in debt. They're billions in debt. Right? But somehow, I have a feeling that this has been imposed on them by our own governments. Our own governments are complicit. They are complicit. We can't be talking about the Arabs, the Asians, and the Southeast Asians, and the Europeans, and the Turks, and all these different groups of people, when we need to look at ourselves and look at what our own leaders are actually doing. Do you get what I'm saying? Watch what they're doing. Just look and see what they're doing. The things that they're doing, it's insane. It's insane coming from where we're coming from. Yeah? But we know why it's happening. We know what's happening. We know the reasons. But how are we going to move this thing forward? Seriously. Right? It's all right for us, you know, some of us here on the grassroots talking about things and raising awareness and campaigning and protesting and petitioning and demonstrating. Alright? You know, there's nothing wrong with these things and protesting. I don't think there's nothing wrong with these things, yeah? But it does, you know, we're not going to be able to build a united front, yeah, and still have a way to, unless we can find a way to influence governments, yeah?
Accept your own and be yourself. Genesis Radio
like I said,
thanks you for your
it's
visit.
all about, yeah, always go to www.genesisradio.co.uk, yeah? Like I said, yeah, it's all about the will of the people. It's down to the will of the people, okay? We have to be able to move the will of the people in the correct direction. We've got to be able to guide them, guide our people in the righteous path, if you want to use that language, yeah? In the best path possible to get us to where we need to be, right? And one of the things is that we can say to these governments in the Caribbean and Africa, right? The system is already set. We know the system is set up. It's set up against us to fail us. When I say to fail us, to fail the majority of our people, yeah, in the system you're going to get a few individuals, yeah, they're going to talk about, yeah, I've succeeded, I've succeeded, yeah, I've gained things in life, I've got things in life, yeah, I've made it, I've done well, I've done good, I'm doing well. Fantastic. But what about the majority of our people? Yeah? I know that there are some black in Africa, and maybe in the Caribbean, there are some black philanthropists. There are some black philanthropists that do help out. Yeah? There are a few people that do help out, that's got money, they're in business, they're in corporations. Well, sorry, not black people are not in corporations, just remember, we can't have a corporation, can we? Yeah? But we have businesses anyway, yeah? So there are people that's doing things, but it shouldn't be just down to the individuals. And I don't think individual movements is going to be enough to make this thing work. I think you have to hold governments to account. If governments are complicit, they're implicit, yeah? They're aiding and abetting with these European corporations, with Chinese corporations, yes, I'm saying, all right? And they come in and they're abusing the employees. They're abusing them. If they're abusing them in this country, think about it. If the employers are abusing the employees in this country, what do you think about these corporations when they go to Caribbean and Africa? They're doing the same thing, if not more. There's more abuse that goes on there. Right? So now they're bringing out this whole thing to do with the biometric ID system. It's called Nids in Jamaica, N.I.D.S, yeah? And it says that it's the world's largest biometric identification system, and it's been noticed that there are infrastructural flaws for years, and that the fears have turned into reality as the list of security breaches in the system keeps growing. Access to the personal data of more than 1 billion people is for sale for less than $10 through WhatsApp. India's the Tribune newspaper. Now listen to this, yeah? India's Tribune newspaper, it's called the Tribune newspaper, was able to buy the data and also claimed that it could buy software that would allow them to print fake Aadhaar cards for about $5 or more. Now look into this system, it's called Aadhaar. Let me spell it AADHAAR. That's the world's largest biometric identification system. So if we study this, yeah, we get an idea what are people's going to be looking forward to in Jamaica, or if you go beyond that in the Caribbean, because maybe they're going to roll it out throughout the Caribbean. Because I can't see it's just going to happen just in Jamaica. Jamaica ain't got no money. Do you know what I'm saying? All the other countries got more money. All the other islands, I'm sure, has got more money than Jamaica. Jamaica is, I think it's the second. Is it the second? Yeah, it's the second poorest country in the world based on their debt. Right? So it doesn't really make sense. Where did they find the money for this? I think this was imposed on them, right? By, it's either the United Nations or, this country. Because this country's still running it. Yeah? This country's still got, the Queen, or say Prince Charles, now is the head of the Commonwealth, okay? Can you imagine? 35 countries from that, between Africa and the Caribbean, they still got an interested in. Right? Yeah? So if people think that the Caribbean and Africa are important, go and ask the Queen. Go and ask the Queen. Go and ask Prince Charles. Why are they still there? Why are their sons, going around, gallivanting around the Caribbean and Africa, lording it up? But they're not dealing with the real issues. Yeah? It says there, others data includes fingerprints, retina scans, names, addresses and phone numbers through which SIM cards can be purchased. And important government services and bank accounts can be accessed. According to multiple reports, biometric data was not exposed on WhatsApp, but names, addresses, emails, photographs and phone numbers were. Now, I didn't even know that. Yeah, is that true? Is that true that WhatsApp is wheeling and dealing now? Anyway, it goes on to say that the Unique Identification Authority of India, UIDAI, which oversees Aadhaar, says over 1.19 billion people have enrolled in the system since it began in 2009. So 2009, that's 10 or 9 years, right? So it took them 9 years to do that. Maybe you can calculate that. So it says there, even those who have outspoken about Aadhaar's privacy implications were caught off guard by the scale of the recent breach. But someone quotes as saying, I'm not surprised by the breach, but I'm surprised at how widespread the access was. Karin Jonalagada, co-founder of the Internet Freedom Foundation, told Motherboard. Motherboard is the reporting article. The news reporters, okay? Motherboard, right? That's the news reporters. And they go on to say, this report says that India's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party has been quick to call the story fake news, and the government agency that oversees Aadhaar has termed it a misuse of the program's grievance redressal system rather than a breach. But even before the WhatsApp story broke, Aadhaar's security track record wasn't good. In July 2010, government agency published sensitive Aadhaar account information online that came after as many as 600,000 children had their data leaked by another government website earlier in the year. And on the same day as the WhatsApp revelation, another local media report exposed a major loophole in Aadhaar security through which practically anyone can become an administrator for the entire system. So look, why is it 600,000 children data being leaked? You trying to what's that all about? See, now it's got down to that level now where you got adults accessing 600,000 children's data. So it's gone down to children's level. Yeah. Anyway, so that telecommunication giants have also been at the center of Adar's controversy, Reliance Jio, which was launched by India's richest man, Mukesh Ambani, spelled Ambani, reportedly leaked the information of 120 million online last summer. So, that's what's happening. It's just everything's just leaking like there's just one big hole there, isn't it? And the data's just pouring out. As soon as they get it. So, you can imagine 1 billion people's data information. Wow, so Jamaica's got 3 million. And then you got to add up all the people in the Caribbean. So they're going to try and find a way to access that information. Then they're going to start using it like this. And it's not just one or two companies. Remember, this information could be used time over and over again by all different sources of government agencies. Yeah. So, and institutions and industries and anybody that says they, and corrupt people that's going to be looking to find a way to do fraud and all kinds of stuff. Alright? It also goes on to say that Artel was accused of opening up bank accounts for customers without their consent when gathering Adar's biometrics to authenticate their mobile phone accounts. Almost $30 million in cooking gas subsidies were diverted into Artel's account as a result. That's a lot of money. It goes to say that from the perspective of the government and other proponents of Adar, though these incidents are relatively minor hiccups for a program transforming the lives of Indians and improving the country's efficiency, then you're always going to get somebody that's going to defend it, innit? Yeah? Even though the evidence is there that it's a failing system. Yeah? And then you've got somebody else saying that, again, he's saying that it's doing more good than harm. This is the CEO of Lucidus, a digital security services provider. These are small little bumps which have been over magnified. Ultimately, Adar's supporters championed the program as a way for the poor to easily obtain subsidies, pensions and food rations by using their fingerprints as ID. In August, the country's finance minister, Arun Jaitley, described the linking of bank accounts to Adar and mobile phone accounts as nothing short of a social revolution. Modi of Lucidus agrees, let's not forget about this touches 1 billion people and there's no parallel program like this anywhere on the planet, he said. Wow! You can say that again. Anyway, somebody said it's a broken, fundamentally wrong system. But it says that the government moves to make Adar mandatory for an increasing amount of important services. Bureaucratic and technical impediments have actually prevented many from getting the welfare they needed. Several people are even believed to have died because they were denied access to food rations, pensions, or even hospital treatment in the name of Adar. Let me stop there, because this is what's going to happen to Jamaican people next year. They're going to have the same problems, guaranteed. They're going to have problems, but some of them are not going to be able to sign up to this, right? Or for some reason, they're not going to be able to have their ID, or they may not, have the availability to apply for it. We don't know, or maybe people that's not aware of it. You see what I'm saying? There may be different reasons. Maybe people's not educated around it. They just don't know, right? So there may be many reasons, and then what's going to happen? People's going to be affected by it, innit? Right? So they're going to find a way. This is micromanaging. This is what it's boiled down to, micromanaging people, man. Anyway, it says that also the problems, issues that's been arising is internet connectivity issues have led to people's fingerprints not going through at ration stations in rural India. Similar problems have been faced by people who have suffered injuries to the fingers while others have faced authentication errors because of glitches or mistakes in the system. If people's other biometrics are not being recognised and Aadhaar is then made mandatory for them to get their pensions or even as an ID at an hospital, they're in trouble. So really what should happen, there should be, I don't know, but they shouldn't have this system in the first place. But if they do have a system like this, then they have to back it up. So people can still have the rights to get their services or get their money or whatever it is. Anyway, they say the program was always supposed to be voluntary and point to several Supreme Court rulings that support their argument. It's a broken, fundamentally wrong system, and as several members of parliament told Motherboard, and they're saying that we're not scrapping the whole thing, but fix the. He says we're not saying scrap the whole thing, but fix the bugs first. Give us proof that 99.99% of it has been fixed, and then maybe make it mandatory. The final Supreme Court hearing on the issue is expected later in the month, but in the meantime, Aadhaar is essentially becoming de facto compulsory, with more and more people linking it to services like bank and mobile phone account, out of fear of getting cut off from those accounts. End of story. Right? So basically, I want to just tie this up with the Nids. If you go to two petitions, there's two petitions. One says take Nids to the Supreme Court, and one says scrap or repeal and replace Nids. Okay. This one says it's got. The first one said take Nids to the Supreme Court. Says it's only got 297 supporters, right? And I don't know if this is right, but I think there's another one as well, But this one says scrap or repeal and replace Nids. It's got 3,376 signatures. Okay. Let me just read what it says very quickly. It says there that we, the concerned people of Jamaica, strongly believe that the National Identification System, NIDS, is unconstitutional. Let me try and get that out of my mouth. But both government and opposition have failed to protect the privacy of Jamaicans. Therefore, we are urging the churches, human rights activists, civil society and the public defender to take Nids to the Supreme Court of Jamaica to test its constitutionality. Right? The following are breaches Section 13 of the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms, which speaks about fundamental rights and freedom. 1. Mandatory national IDs for persons under 16 years old is unconstitutional. Okay? And I agree with that. Yeah, as you know. Number 2 said mandatory biometrics for all its citizens is unconstitutional. Yeah, it should be. Why is it mandatory? It shouldn't be mandatory, is it? Yeah. Mandatory means that it's compulsory. You've got to take it. You've got to be able to fill in these forms to get your NIDs, or otherwise you can't use the system. You can't access services and things like that. And then number 3 says Section 41(1) of NIDS, National Identification System, infringes upon the rights to free education up to the secondary level. It also infringes upon the right to free health care for all its citizens, not just in case of emergency. Also, the other one says, the other one's talking about the government of Jamaica has passed the intrusive national identification system. It's always good to see different things, different views, yeah? That's what I think anyway. It's always good to see different views or different perspectives, right? And most definitely, I would say that this view's definitely different. Definitely different. Anyway, it goes on to say that they're saying the same thing here. The government of Jamaica has passed this intrusive national identification system in Senate in a partisan manner. We, the people, consider this bill unconstitutional in its current stage. On August the 24th, 2017, Indian Supreme Court ruled against the world's largest biometric national ID card system. A 9-member panel ruled unanimously that privacy is a fundamental right. The Conservative Party in the UK scrapped the national ID card scheme in its first 100 days due to its intrusiveness, right? Intrusiveness, yeah? So this country scrapped it, yeah? So what's good for this country is good for Jamaica, right? So it really makes no sense. Doesn't really make sense how different rules or different laws and policies are applied in different places to do with the Commonwealth. Anyway, it goes on to say that option 1, scrap Nids. 1, biometric passports. 2, modernize our TRN, NIS or EOJ systems. Okay, they're all different types of forms of IDs, alright, that would take away from, or would replace the Nids system if they bring that Nids system in. Yeah, well, we'll have to see. But it also says that remove biometrics for all citizens to persons who are in the security forces, certain professions, and persons who are arrested and charged. So it says option 2, repeal and replace. So it says as number 2, the age Nids should be mandatory is 18 years and older. So the other one was saying 16. This one's saying 18. Number 3 says, based upon this administration policy with regard to education, now of clause 41, 1, infringe upon on our rights to free health care and free education up to the secondary level. Right. Yeah, so that's right. It would infringe on the rights to free health care and free education up to secondary level. Anyway, it says 4, the Prime Minister has the right, don't know, that makes sense, does it, to recommend a CEO for this impending Nids board. It is Parliament's job to appoint the CEO through simple majority by preferably a 2/3 majority. And 5, a secret court should be in place where a security intelligence agency has to seek approval from this court in order to have access to Nids database. And 6, fines related to some offences needs revision. But number 5 is really interesting. I don't know why would they need a secret court. Security intelligence agencies. Right. Alright, so that just gives you an idea of for people that's interested, go to these petitions, right? I think there's others out there. But somehow we've got to get a move on with this thing, innit? Because otherwise they're going to start rolling it out. And I don't think it's going to help Jamaica's situation or make things any better. Yeah? Alright, so I'm just going to have a short interlude, pause for the chords, and I'm going to come back to you very shortly. No doubt. let me just double check, make sure I got the right track, so you know you can hear this next track. Okay, so yeah, Genesis Radio, www.genesisradio.co.uk.
Like the wax that melted before the fire, so melt them away on my sure. Hey, because we living in a world where neglect is prevalent, with a lot of moral cavaliers and men so diligent to miss more time savoring a daily ornament. Oh, thanks to this egotistical government, the messages they send via what they recommend. Desire and I have to but what a sitting when the youth start thinking. The mind says all, we fail to repent. A dirty Babylon, you're greedy, robbing from the needy. Make we life so hard, so lost, you know you're not easy. Dirty Babylon, you're sleazy, robbing from the needy. Make we life so hard, so lost, you know you're not easy. But I know that it won't be long before the children stand up strong. I know it won't be long before the children stand as one. Hey, a desperation on the face of the devastated youth. Where I look up bright today but simply can't find the root. Government a contribute to the many destitute, cause the things they institute only please but a few. Offended by them style on unpleasant attributes. They startled by the things they do to keep up on the mute. Commenting on the things which they know not about. Most of the time they disappointed not they can't even count. You're greedy, robbing from the needy. Make we life so hard, we lost it, oh, you're not easy. Dirty Babylon, you're sleazy, robbing from the needy. Make we life so hard, we lost it, oh, you're not easy. But I know that it won't be long before the children are stand up strong. I know it won't be long before the children are stand up strong. Hey, I could have what the youth them do make them a treat me so bad. Why is it they wanna take away the little where we hide? The richer of the poor it hurt me out to see that. Cause everybody know there is enough for all glad. The goodness and the coverage just a scheme and a plot. We can't find the youths where you try counteract. The folly them promote and all the rubbish them a tried. But soon and very soon there will be no holding back. Me say you're greedy, robbing from the needy. Make we life so hard, still I say no, you're not easy. Dirty Babylon, you're sleazy, robbing from the needy. Make we life so hard, still I say no, you're not easy. But I'm warning you, it won't be long before the children stand up strong. I know it won't be long before the children stand as one. Hey, hey, so keep on plotting and don't overreact. Oh, very soon you're going in the pot and go act. Say keep on plotting and don't overreact. Very soon you're going in the pot and go act. God man alive, surely nothing pretty. I ain't no puppy, me no fear, not a dog. And them look super frightened and I coulda never be a disease. I just see round unity and me say Babylon you're greedy, robbing from the needy. Make we life so hard till I say no you're not easy. Me say Babylon you're sleazy, robbing from the needy. Make we life so hard till I say no you're not easy. Hey. So why is it you keep on treating the youth so cold? Why is it you want more than you already owe? You better watch out now. You better look out now. We'll be screaming aloud. We've been weeping and waiting for far. Rastafari is the Almighty, so I will be here standing forever.
Yeah, Genesis Radio, Sayshara, back in the house, most definitely. Alright. So look, I want to quickly jump to talking about. Alright, so we're going to be kind of moving all over the globe, right? So, what's going on in Africa? Now, this article, I talked about it, yeah? And I just want to highlight that There's so much rubbish things going on. It's ridiculous what's going on. Yeah, but this shows you where we're at. Okay, now we're going in from 2018 to 2019. Yeah, and we can look about what's been happening over this past year. Okay, and then you can ask the question: have we progressed? Yeah. Have we progressed? Right? Now, man, I'll tell you, man. Two things. I've got 2 articles, okay? I'm going to touch on, right? And then I'm looking at the time. I'm going to go over a little bit, okay? Just to make up for lost time earlier on, yeah? And I apologize for that. Now, you might have heard this. I might have, last week you might have heard this. So I was talking about. I have to highlight this because I found this one really interesting. Anything to do with the United Nations, I'm interested in. Yeah, okay. Now look at this. The United Nations truck overturns with stolen Congo minerals. Right. Now, very little talk about this. Very little talk whatsoever. Yeah. This information should be splattered everywhere, alright? That should show you how these people get down and what they get up to, yeah? And the United Nations truck, which overturned, has been found to be carrying illegal minerals that has attracted, it says there, a lot of criticism. I don't see that. But anyway, it says some critics argued that since the establishment of the UN mission in the Democratic Republic Congo, the UN peacekeepers have not been the exception of having interest in Congolese natural resources. Among the allegations, there are slaughter of elephants and illegal trafficking of natural resources. For that, many evidence have been expressed to denounce the involvement of the UN peacekeepers in the illegal exploitation of Congolese natural resources. And it's quoted saying, with evidence of sacks of minerals from a UN vehicle confirms the reasons the United Nations' most expensive peacekeeping mission is likely not to end any sooner despite scarcity in achievements, a critique said. Peacekeeping missionaries. Peacekeepers. What are they keeping? They're keeping the resources. That's why they're called peacekeeping missionaries. Right? They're on a mission. That's why they're there. Not to keep peace, as so they say, but to keep the minerals, right? Anyway, it says, for example, I'm going to continue this article saying a UN staff was on the 21st of August 2011 at the border crossing with Rwanda. This is some time ago, was caught with 1,200 kilograms of cassiterite in his UN marked vehicle plate number 1727. The UN mission in the DRC is suspected to be involved in the slaughter of elephants in the national park of Virunga with the complicity of militaries of forces Democratic Polar Liberation de Rwanda, the FDLR. Okay, so the United Nations haven't got really a good reputation as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, and if you got the United Nations peacekeeping army and they're on a mission, right, so-called to keep peace, but really they're on some other mission. It's called skullduggery. You know what I'm saying? This article has a different view, saying that United Nations vehicle overturns in Congo, busted illegal minerals fall everywhere. And that's the sign, and that's the works, isn't it? Yeah? That had to happen. Alright? But anyway, they got exposed, and it says there, can anyone say greed using the poor black Africans and non-profits moving the products, minerals, stolen out of African nations? How did a United Nations truck full of illegal minerals not make the front pages of American news or English news? The United Nations. It should be all over the world. Right? But then, once again, reporting biasness, nepotism, favoritism, one-sided, you call it whatever you want to call it. This is a fact. Yeah? No one in the world really knows about this. Right? And this is your leading spearheading country, the New World Order. 21 agenda, or Agenda 21. Right? Alright, so look. I'm just reading some texts. I just put the phone on because it was dead. I'm just apologise for the texters out there because the phone was completely flat. Alright? But let me just check. I've got, it says remember, yeah. And by the way, you can go to to catch up on anything I'm talking about. If you go to say space Shara, okay, say it's spelled SAYSHARA, and I've got an email address. If I can find it, I don't know where it is. But if I can find it, I'll give it to you at some point, so you can reach me. Okay, so yeah, if you go to Sayshara232 at gmail.com. Alright, so I'm gonna try and be more interactive. I'm not really good at being like with all this technology. I'm down with the technology, I'm with it, I'm practical with it and stuff like that. But sometimes it can be a bit too much, yeah? Alright, so yeah. There you have it again. Let me just finish off reading this article. It says I stopped at where, which is interesting that the American news never reported this country never reported it. Yeah? Oh, it's not important enough. That is not important. Oh, the United Nations stealing, that's not news. Right? Oh, the United Nations, it's the United Nations. It doesn't matter. You represent the United Nations. If you're a peacekeeping soldier, whatever you want to call yourself, you represent the United Nations. The United Nations are complicit because they're not taking accountability for it. So they must be behind it, right? The leaders in the United Nations, they're well aware. And what's really bad about it is that none of the leaders in the Caribbean, or more importantly in Africa, are saying anything about it. But yet they talk a lot of stuff, innit? They talk a lot of stuff, but they're not talking about the United Nations stealing. Why? They got caught. Red-handed. But no one's not talking about that. Now, if you go out there and steal something, you get caught. What's going to happen to you? Come on, man. Yeah? And how many years have they been doing this? How many countries have this been going on in? How many years has it been? These people are robbing you blind. And the leaders in the countries in the Caribbean, Africa, they're allowing these things to go on. Right? We've got to hold them account. It's not just about, the Pan-Africanist group or the conscious group talking about things. Yeah? And not holding these governments to account. Yeah? You're not going to move people, right? And just think, we just need to move the people. Right? You've got to still hold the government to account because they're the ones that's controlling the majority of people. Yeah? So you've got to be a thorn in their side. You've got to address the situations. You've got to address the problems. You've got to address the issues that we've got to be talking about, because they affect our people. Yeah, I don't know how much abuse are people going to take from because of our leaders having a lack of responsibility, being totally irresponsible. Right? Yeah, but when the United Nations, when these people do things, they turn a blind eye. They don't say anything. What's that all about? They're getting paid. Those leaders are getting paid. All the leaders, any leader, if you join up with the United Nations, that's what I'm saying to you. If you join up with these boys' clubs, these fraternities, right? You got no reason to open your mouth and say anything. You're not going to say anything. You're going to see things that's happening to your people, and you're not going to say anything. You're going to turn a blind eye because you're getting paid. That's what's happening. The prime ministers and the presidents of these countries that's been given these titles, who gave them these titles? Who gave them their position? Who divided their country up? Who gave them the democracy? Who gave them the structure? What structure are they following? What system they're following? Yeah? But you can't, look, you won't see, how can you make this up? How can I explain this, yeah? If the feet was on the other, if the shoe was, let's say, yeah, it was one of our people. We had an organization, yeah? We had a big organization, and we said we had our own army or whatever, yeah? Peace. And we said, we came to this country, and we said, we're just going to steal your resources. We're going to steal the crown jewels or something like that, which is not yours anyway, yeah? But you imagine what would happen? Anyway, it says here, one other thing I want to talk about, yeah? To do with Africa as well, once again, yeah? But it's good news. It's good news, right? It says here, this is the only African country that rejected Chinese loans, right? Now, I'm sorry if I'm hitting on Chinese. I'm not talking about Chinese people. I'm talking about their elite. I'm talking about their government. I'm talking about their corporate bureaucrats, their so-called entities. Yeah, I'm talking about them. So when I'm talking about things, yeah, just to put things into context, all right, the most poor people around the world, right, they're being governed poorly or very badly by their leaders. I understand that. I get that. I'm getting that for real. But I'm not gonna defend them over my own people. I'm gonna defend my people over them, because all of these people, I can tell you straight, none of these people, none of these countries, I'm not talking about individuals now, because anytime you start talking about things, you got to explain things thoroughly, because otherwise people start throwing stones and rocks at you and boulders and all this. I'm just saying, I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about in countries, they practice all of this stuff. State countries, wherever they want to call themselves, whatever culture they come from, they do not care. All they're interested in is what they can get, right? You see what I'm saying? And they'll do anything to get it. Yeah, but just because they're only interested in what we want, or what they want, or what they can get, doesn't mean that they love us. That doesn't mean that they care about us. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? They don't care. I'm saying all they want is what they can get to keep them going, right? It's a simple mathematics. What is wrong with people? Why they can't understand this? Simple thing, yeah. These people do not keep one iota, right? Where's the evidence that these people care? They don't care. They're bombing. They're supply. Look, they will supply you anything to kill you. They will supply you anything to kill yourself. Yeah? Because why have we got all these toxic foods? If they had any respect for us, okay, they would leave our people alone and stop bothering them and stop disrespecting them, demeaning them, demoralizing and all this stuff. But they don't. They'll feed us all the toxic foods. They give us anything to kill us off. They don't worry about that. They're not concerned about that. They talk about health, United Nations, you've got the World Health Organization, and all these organizations, the alphabet gang. They don't really care about us. Right? But you see, you got issues where Chinese contractors fight Ugandan minister. You could read this. Now, a lot of things ain't reported. I'm telling you straight up. A lot of the stuff that goes on, right, with some of our people is not reported, yeah? You can find certain things on YouTube. This information about this contractor, Chinese contractor, yeah? I couldn't find anything on it. Only YouTube stuff. You know what I'm saying? Why aren't they reporting this stuff? Look, a Chinese contractor who was trying to fight a Ugandan minister for stealing. Yeah? This is Uganda, right? So this is going on all over. The Chinese are doing it. The Europeans are doing it. The Arabs are doing it. The Asians are doing it. But everybody turns a blind eye. Why? Because it's happening to black people. It's not happening to them. It's happening to black people. When it happens to them, oh, it's a big fuss. It's a big issue. But when it's happening to our people, it's swept underneath the carpet. It's swept in one corner. Nobody wants to deal with that. Why? Because the leaders in the Caribbean and Africa don't pay it no mind, don't pay any attention. Why? Because they're being bought. They're getting paid. Who's paying them wages? The Caribbean leaders and African leaders, they're getting paid by other groups of people. It makes no sense. When they've got their own resources right underneath their feet, they could pay themselves. They don't need to depend on other countries to pay them. They don't need the United Nations to pay them. They don't need the Commonwealth to pay them. They don't need no outside influence or organization, fraternities, institutions, industry to pay them when you've got all the resources that they want. Now, they're going to, even though they can get the things, even though they can get it, and they're going to get it at the most reduced, ridiculous prices and reduced, ridiculous rates, right, where majority of the poor people will suffer, yeah, so that we can accommodate for these people that don't respect us or respect anything that we do, anything that we got. They don't respect none of that, yeah. But yet, this is good news. The only African country that rejected Chinese loan, it says here, as African countries jostle for a piece of the $60 billion, this is what I'm talking about, $60 billion, right? Now, that money's there. That money's already there. It's here. It's already there, isn't it? Right? Am I lying? Am I not lying? But these people are not good. The government, the leaders, right? They're not going to really move our people forward, are they, with this kind of mindset, with this kind of behavior, with this kind of thinking, with this kind of feeling, right? With this, that they know. It's not that they don't know. They know their hands are tied, right? They know that they sign up to some dodgy agreements, right? They know that they have to accommodate, they have to bow down, all of this stuff, right? And that's fine. But they should still fight against it. They should still fight against it. Why? Because the system is not leveled, where they can they can get their way out of the situation, right? These countries not helping. They're not helping, not one little bit, right? Yeah? They were quite happy to give you money to get you to take loans, right? And you'll just be in debt. Alright, so look, it says here on this one here, right? African countries jostle for a piece of the 60 billion promised by China during the FOCAC summit. Eswatini, formerly Swaziland, remains resolute in her stance not to have a relationship with China. China is Africa's biggest trading partner. This is why over 40 African heads of state and representatives were in Beijing, China, between September the 3rd and the 4th, 2018, for the Forum for Africa-China Cooperation, FOCAC, which will tighten China's grip over Africa and deepen Africa's dependency. See, no one's talking about this. Again, yeah? No one's educating us about what's going on. I don't hear nobody talking about this, yeah? They're at a summit. Look. 40 African heads of states were in Beijing. Why am I talking about this? No one ain't talking about this. I've not heard no one talking about this. Right? They're already planning things ahead now, innit? Right? They're talking about 60 billion, yeah? Already. That's a lot of money. Right? But the money's already there. It's right underneath their feet. You know what I'm saying? Why didn't it? It's crazy, man. 2018, and they're still doing it. This goes to show between the Caribbean and Africa, there's no progression. None. In fact, we've digressed. We're de-evolving. We're de-evolving. Right? It says, however, only one country in the continent wants none of the Chinese support and has refused to adhere to the terms of China to benefit from the development drive. This country is Eswatini, the only absolute monarchy in the world that was formerly known as Swaziland. Big up Swaziland. Big up all of them people there. Yeah? It says the African-China Corporation, you see, they've formed this corporation now called Africa-China. That's what this FOCAC is. It says which will tighten China's grip over Africa and deepen Africa's dependency. Instead of us, you can't make this stuff up, man. Seriously, we've gone from one dependency to another dependency to another. We depend on everybody. Who is it that we ever depend on? Just be real. Who isn't? Why is it? When is it? At what point in time are we going to say to ourselves, we need to stand up our own feet? We need to be looking at depending on ourselves. Huh? Rather than these people robbing and raping and pillaging you. I got a lot of information on the China and what they're doing with their building infrastructure and their policies and a lot of stuff to do with the investment in different places. I got so much information, it's ridiculous, right? But is it what they term, a lot of people saying is China colonialism? Yeah. Anyway, it says, like I said, the tiny kingdom was absent from Africa's summit and appears to have no plans of attending anytime soon. So all the ones that went to this summit, they're the sellouts. There they are. This we need to get the 40 names, isn't it? Right? Anyway, it's the last African nation that still recognized Taiwan as an independent country, much to the dismay of the Chinese leadership in Beijing that considers Taiwan to be a wayward province. You see, China, a lot of people might be very romantic about China and they may be like delusional because they can see all these billions, right? But the problem is in China alone, China's got some serious human rights abuse issues there, right there. So you think it's not going to happen in Africa or the Caribbean? Watch this space, right? Because look what I just said. I read out something already. Like I said, you can go on YouTube and tap in Chinese contractor fight Ugandan minister. This is getting out of hand. Or another Chinese contractor fighting with Ugandan minister. Yeah. So what I'm saying, this is happening quite often. All right. It also says here, Swaziland Foreign Minister Magwagwa Gemzizi recently re-emphasized the kingdom's commitment to Taiwan, warning China that Beijing must not play mind games because our relationship with Taiwan is over 50 years, so we will not dump them. We have no desire to change camps since Taiwan has been good to us. Until recently, Eswatini, Soatomi and Principe and Bukuni Vasa were the only African countries that recognized China's estranged ally, Taiwan, and were punished with aid restrictions. You hear that? You see? So what I'm saying is, yeah, just like they're going to use these tactics, right, to get you where they want you to control you, right? And like one of them is that if you just like the United States of America, Donald Trump is saying the same thing. If you're not singing song with us, yeah, if you're not singing on the same page as us, if you're not dancing on the same page as us, and all of this stuff, okay, well then look, we're going to cut you off, innit? We're going to block you. We're going to tell you that you got to pay your debt straight away, or we're going to cut you off again. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be at the hands of these people. It's another way of being enslaved, isn't it, really, in actually? So Jamaica must be the most enslaved country on the planet Earth. Let's be real. With the debts that they got hanging over their necks. Right? But no one's not talking about that. Yeah? So the Chinese, you can't, if you think you can trust the Chinese, the only reason why these leaders are they're taking their money now, because they're only interested in now. They're not interested in the future. They're only going to take the money now because they don't care what the Chinese do, build, and all this. They're going to be here for a little while, and then they're gone, innit? The Chinese corporations and the Chinese government will still be in China while leaders come and go. So they're going to take the money now, and they're going to run. They're going to take the money. They're going to live their life to the full while they can, and they're going to exploit the money that they're going to get from China. It's the same thing that they've been doing with the European money. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's the yen. It doesn't matter if it's the dollar. It doesn't matter if it's the pound. It doesn't matter if it's the Arab money or whatever. That's why we have to get our own system in place. I'm going to show you something as well, why that's important. Anyway, to continue, so Tommy, I will be reading the texts. Like I said, I apologize. I had to put the phone on charge. Alright, so it says that so Tommy and so Tommy and Principe and Burkina Faso fell for the millions of dollars China was offering, while Eswatini preferred to hold on to Taiwan, which is considered as a breakaway region by China. The Taiwanese government provides Eswatini with aid and economic assistance. Meanwhile, China has assisted the rest of the continent with 60 billion in 2050 and presently another 60 billion. So 60 billion add 60 billion is what? $120 billion since when? Since 2015 for Africa, and a clean-up of the debt maturing by this year of its least developed countries, LDCs. So they got countries, they put them in the bracket of LDC, which is the least developed countries. So in between, oh my gosh. So in between the developed countries, the developing countries, because the developed countries are the industrial countries like this country we're in, England, France, Germany, and all these developed, because there may be even some developing countries in Europe still, right? But you have most of the countries in Europe are developed. United States and all of this stuff, right? And China's developed now, most definitely Japan. So what I'm saying is that, so you got this third world, right? You got the third world. So if there's a third world, there must be a second world, and there must be a first world, right? All right. So now they're saying that there's a least developed countries, highly indebted, landlocked, and small island states. These formed part of the 8 new initiatives announced at the Forum for Africa-China Cooperation, FOCAC, in Beijing between September the 3rd and 4th, China has also launched an initiative to promote non-resources-based China imports from Africa, and a 5 billion special fund to accelerate such efforts. China and Taiwan separated in 1949 after the communist victory in a civil war that saw the nationalists flee to the island. The two sides have never united ever since, despite back and forth diplomatic battles. China has ensured that any country that established ties with Taiwan will be sanctioned diplomatically. Right? You see? See, in business, China's no different from America. In business, it's cutthroat. Why is it that the Caribbean governments and the African governments, leaders, right? Why is it that I'm not saying to them to kind of be like
be
them,
Genesis.
Yeah? But what I'm saying
Radio
is,
thanks you for your visit.
You've got to be strong in it.
If you use your phone while you're driving and it's not hands-free, the penalty has been doubled. It's now 6 points and £200. The trouble is, a lot of us are addicted to our phones. So try this trick. Put your phone somewhere where you can't pick it up. Somewhere you can't see it. The glove compartment. That way, you won't be tempted. Save yourself 6 points and £200. Maybe even save a life. Make the glove compartment the phone compartment. Think. Put your phone away.
Cirque Live, Davina Star, Rose Ends and Team Buzzwhack proudly presents Bucky Joe. The Reverend's album launch party, Sunday 18th of November 2018, to be held at the Brixton Jam, 261 Brixton Road, SW9 6LA, live on stage. Bucky Joe himself alongside special guests, Little Roy, Christopher Ellis, Bonnie Lili, Jimmy London, Tenor Star, Daddy Fred.
Alright, Sayshara back in the house, okay? www.genesisradio.co.uk. Alright, just a few more minutes and I'm off, right? Really apologise, the computer's just got a mind of its own today, right? Trying to control it, yeah? Alright, so... Cool. Yeah, so I was just saying about Swaziland doing a good job. I want to big up Swaziland, yeah? And for refusing the $200 million from China, yeah. Just imagine Swaziland is probably the smallest country, and they're very proud of themselves and who they are. They're proud of what they're saying, and they're not easily bought, right? So let me just go and look on these texts, right? And then I'm gonna give you Sayshara's view once again, right? Then I'm gonna be out of this. Okay. 019 says, I'm reading it backwards, okay. Let me go back. Got that. Thanks 753 for saying my mic wasn't on properly. 308 says you're sounding very low. Just tuned in. Okay. I'm sounding very low. Alright. Also you're saying that the waste of space UN come out like the Popo and greedy, disgusting government. They can still murder and lie, and all they want, no one is ever gonna hold them to account. They're all the same. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Let me see if I missed nothing. Yeah, it says here. We're going back a bit. Let me go back. It says the very same thing. Says talk facts and truth, the very same thing the so-called powers they are dead against, hence the hack. Right. I'm just going back here. It says, and Jamaica can't even be bothered to fix up the country's roads. They're too busy trying to get in bed with China, so China can import their fake crap. Why they want the foolish biometric in the airport for? Can't someone say no to all this nonsense? Yeah, quite right. Just reading off the text from Freezer, right? Just going back. It says, I'm not sure, I'm just reading this back here. You can hear the stupid noise. That could have been last week's text. No, he's been trying to get in bed with China. Right. Yeah, that's what it is. A lot of these countries trying to get in bed with China because China's got lots of money, innit? Alright, it says okay, and so respect to Swaziland, at least someone said no to something. About time. The Chinese seem like they learned from the Europeans to add to their already disgusting ways. Yeah, I know I'm sounding low, okay. The waste of space UN, yeah. It's true. How is anybody going to hold the United Nations to account? How would they go about it? That's a good question. How would you be able to hold some of these people to account? This is what's going to happen. You also got from 019 says, let me see. Yeah, so these UK Pan-Africanist groups are not effective, just a talking shop. It says that all African and Caribbean leaders are controlled by the same Jewish masters. They are also working according to 2030 New World Order agenda. You're right, I don't see any of these Pan-African groups over here putting pressure on our leaders in Africa and the Caribbean. All they do is push out useless rhetorics. Yeah, you see? I don't see any, it's the truth. Right, that is the truth, right? Anyway, I'm really talking about something now, yeah? Just a little thing, yeah? Just a little thing, just to provoke people thinking, yeah? Because, and then I'm out of here, yeah? No, tell a lie. There's one article, there was one thing I was going to touching up on this whole thing around the Black Panther film, Black America. The whole thing around how does that relate to reparations and repatriation, right? Repatriation now, right, from America. You got this. You got this film come out, Black Panthers, yeah? It's made a lot of money in the box office, no doubt one of the most selling box office movies for the year, probably for years, right? And it's a majority of all-star black people, yeah? And, you know, black people put a lot, you know, some effort into it, or some of their time into it. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But the problem I find, there's a issue that I'm finding with this Black Panther thing, yeah? Black Panther film, the movie. Yeah, because they're kind of using that name, the Black Panthers, which is an organization, right? Back in the 60s. So now, has that message been lost now because of this film, right? What I'm talking about now, yeah, is I'm looking at around, okay, this stuff to do with these Americans talking some big talk. They're talking about they want to repatriate to Africa now. They got this sort of, I don't know, they got this like message in their head now because of this film that they want to go to Africa, right? But are they going to Africa based on a false premise? And does it even really make sense at this point in time? What's that all about? Do you agree with it? Yeah? Because look at Black America. What is Black America all about? Yeah? For years, they weren't interested in Africa. For years. I mean, they talk about Africa. And in some cases, they didn't talk about Africa. In fact, a lot of people, they're ashamed to talk about Africa, and they're ashamed to say they even originated from Africa. In fact, they don't want to have nothing to do with Africa, right? Now this film comes out, and now there's this big buzz around. Everybody wants to become African conscious and all of this stuff, right? And that's fine. Yeah, and it may inspire people, and it may even influence people to start to look at themselves, and that's fine as well. But there's a problem with Black America, where they got a lot of problems and issues right there in their country. Now, you know, Black America got a lot of problems and issues. They got a leadership issue as well. Yeah, a lot of their leaders are fake. They got some fake leaders, fake activists. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm going to be looking to talk about this a lot more, right? In the next couple of weeks or so, right? Because the reason why I think this is wrong, yeah? Let's look at reparations, for example. There's a lot of people that don't even know anything about reparations. They may have heard about it. They may have not even uttered the word reparations, right? But yet they're talking about going back to Africa with this mindset. What kind of mindset of people is going to go back to Africa? That's what I'm concerned about. Because America is one of the sickest countries on the planet Earth. Mentally, physically, spiritually, culturally, you name it, yeah? Scientifically, you name it. You just name it. Just sick, off the charts sick, yeah? Because, you know what I mean? What are they doing there? It's not their, you know, they're just invade. The people that came there, just make this clear, right? Historically, right? It's not for the Europeans to go there as invaders, yeah? And to take over the country, which they did, through blood, murder, alright? And then turn around and tell people that we need to be looking at them to save the world, right? And then now we got black people in that country. They haven't been given their rights, okay? And they've been promised all kinds of things, and they have not got anything. So they've created now this leadership in America for black people. Now, black people never used to, just like in this country, black people, they never used to have black blue-collar workers, much less white-collar workers. You know, black people had to work hard to go into these different places. I don't see anything wrong with that. You know, this is just life, yeah? You know what I'm saying? People's going to work and go in these different places. So now we got black people, they never used to have these jobs, right? We used to do the most, you know, basic jobs, yeah? The most basic jobs, yeah? And now we got black people, blue-collar workers, we got white-collar workers, yeah? We got black people in Parliament, in the Senate, and in different places in the political arena, okay? So when people say that we need to be in the system, right, you're talking crap. You know what I'm saying? We need to be in the, what do you mean we need to be in the system? What are you talking about? We're in the system. What? We need to be in politics. We're talking about black people's in politics. What this whole system is made from politics. We're talking about whether we're in it, right directly in it, or not. We're still in it, yeah. Whether we're MPs or not, whether we're senators or not, or whether councillors or whatever, yeah. We're still in it, yeah. We're still participating in it, yeah? But now we're really in it. We're in the heart, in the head of the beast and all of this stuff, right? We're there, right? We've got, what we got? We've got MPs, yeah? We've got judges, we've got lawyers, barristers, solicitors, yeah? We've got teachers, ed teachers, yeah? We've got all kinds of peoples in all status of work, yeah? Maybe because this country is so biased and so racist and so prejudicial and so discriminative, okay? Maybe some of our people haven't got to certain positions in those fields of status of work, in those fields of industry, or those companies or corporations. Like they said that there's not enough black people or women in the boardroom, right? Where there's a lot of business, yeah, goes on, right? So there are black people in different places, but maybe they're not reaching to the top of their profession because of what you call racism, which is definable, which needs to be definable, or, you know, prejudice or discrimination, yeah? So we're not getting to them places, but we're in the system. We're right there, yeah? No one can't say that we're not in the system, yeah? Right? But the problem is, even though we've got people working in the system in different places, okay, they're not looking out for our interests. They're not, you know what I'm saying? Yeah? They have to look after the government's interests. The government's interest comes first, right? And for that reason, we'll not get anywhere. We're not going to get anywhere, right? Because the government's only interested in serving their shareholders, and they're only interested in making money from rogue countries like Israel and Saudi Arabia. As long as they can get money from these people, right? These people can do the most wickedest thing on the planet Earth, right? Yeah? And none of these people would even bat an eyelid. They wouldn't even say anything about it. They may murmur and make a few comments and stuff like that. But other than that, they're going to turn a blind eye and try and find an excuse to justify why they're going to still do business with these rogue countries. Yeah? But other countries like little old Jamaica, they're going to tell us, they're going to shape and mold us and tell us what to do, what to grow, you know, how to grow it. You know what I'm saying? This is major disparity. Oh, we're going to keep you in debt. Right? So what I'm saying is the whole thing about reparations now, yeah? You can't be talking about, you black people in America can't be talking about going back to Africa. You need repairing. You need repairing. Yeah? Just what I'm saying, I'm going to prove it to you as well, right? Now, one of the things that I was saying, yeah? I want to be out of there very shortly, yeah? Is that you find that they're defiling nature. You see people defiling nature, yeah? You think like, you know, nature is not important, right? But nature is very important, right? When you see people defiling nature from every different angle, every different level, every place that you can think of, right? Defiling the natural way that we are as male and female, that's being defiled right now as we speak, yeah? And they're defiling everything that's natural, defiling it, you know? You see what I'm saying? Yeah? And we think we become desensitized. It's like we become desensitized to all of that stuff, right? Because we're not looking at things, right? So what's happening is that nature is being defiled, okay? We just talk about the birds and the bees and the natural habitats of our ecology, okay? And how that is slowly being defiled, is slowly dying off, yeah? And now they're going to bring in all this fake stuff, yeah, or artificial stuff. So we're living in a fake world, man. Come on, man. Yeah. So now this defiling of nature is going to affect us. It's going to affect us. It's going to affect us. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. Because you can't turn around and tell people, yeah, that we have to behave a certain way and we have to accept that. If that way is going against nature, it's defiling nature in its sense, in its essence. You shouldn't be saying that to us. If we think that we need to preserve everything that's natural, yeah, and we got a right to that. Yeah. So you see more and more as time goes by, the defiling nature, right? Also, relationships and the way that we relate is declining. 2018, social media and how we interact with all these different modern utilities, you could say, applications, different tools, okay, where we're communicating. Because of that, relationships are declining. And it's affecting that the way that we relate, and it's affecting the way that we socialize. All of these things are affecting us, yeah? So, you know, you have to ask the question, is modern technology, is it really helping us? Yeah? Is modern technology really helping us? Or is modern technology helping towards destroying these high values and principles and our natural order and way of life? Yeah? Now, you also have to take in consideration, if you take in consideration that there's been a multitude of changes, untold changes, yeah? And let's be real, right? As black African people, as African Caribbean people, I have to be careful when I'm using the word black, because black, if you take away the you know, the B means lack, be lacking, yeah? And we're kind of lacking, yeah, a lot, right? Now, you know, I'm asking the question now, yeah, about these changes, okay, because we have to ask these questions. The multitude of changes which are invading rapidly into people's lives. Not just, maybe it's not happening to me and you, but it's rapidly invading into people's lives and affecting our environment. Yeah? And what we need to be looking at is the long-term consequences of these changes. Because the problem that we have, right, is that if people think that, I want to ask this question, if people think that these changes are good, or modern technology is good, yeah, and we can say, yeah, in some parts there's goodness in that, yeah, but then you have to ask the question, is if modern technology is good or bad for black people, yeah, if you're saying it's good, right, let's say that you say it's good, modern technology is good, let's say you're saying that modern technology is good, right, well then if you accept that, ask the question, what would be the major problem that we as a people have got with modern technology? What is the problem? What would be the main problem that you would have to factor in? Yeah, that if you're saying that modern technology is good, what is the problem that we got with this modern technology? What is it? What is the problem that we got? Yeah? Alright, so look, I might as well answer that then, innit? Yeah, I'll answer that, okay? The problem that we got, just like with everything else, and most things, is who's controlling it. Yeah? they're bringing out all of these different stuff, okay? And it's coming rapid. Yeah? We're still dealing with old school stuff. We're still having to deal with some old school stuff, while these people are just like, they're just pouring out all this stuff, innit? All this technology, and we're not able to keep up with it. Yeah? We're not able to keep up with it. But we're just absorbed in that. We slowly get absorbed into it, and we don't realize if we don't take control of it, okay, it's going to take control of us. Just understand? Yeah? And people's going to be able to find ways to use it. Again, once again, to take advantage of us, to manipulate us, to dictate to us whatever. Yeah? That's why it's important that if we're going to do something, we've got to think about how we can control it. We'll not be able to control everything, but you should be able to have some or a certain amount of control, right? Now, in terms of talking about governments controlling the technology, when we're talking about government, we're talking about our governments in the Caribbean and Africa. Yeah? Because they can educate us. If they can have a control over things, yeah, they can educate us, right? And we can learn, right? How we can use the technology effectively, collectively, yeah? Because that's what we need to be doing. And to tie up to decide there about this film, Black Panthers, to connect this film, Black Panthers and Black America, with them talking about repatriation, based off the premise that they want to escape from the clutches of the white oppressor, or they want to escape from the clutches of their colonizers, right? Because it's the film sending this message, innit? Right? And now Black America, or some Black Americans, okay, interpreting, oh well, this is a call out for us to go to America, but based on what premise? What of a film called The Black Panther, a 90 film made by Hollywood. It don't fit right. Yeah? Because what we're supposed to be talking about is reparations, and dealing with the reparation process, and how we're going to repair the damage that's been done, how we're going to rebuild our cultural identity. Yeah, how we're going to rebuild our people up, to empower them, to uplift them, to improve their conditions and to improve their quality of life. How are we going to do that? Why are we talking about, oh, you know, there's this mass exodus back to Africa with what? With the kind of mindset that some of our people got. Yeah? So what we need to do is, like I said, yeah, in terms of like I said, in America, it's like there's no rules or regulations. You're free to do anything you want. You got people that's open up a church to Satan. Yeah, you got satanic churches that's been open from the 60s. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and there's this satanic movement going on out there. Yeah. Now, I don't know how much our people are being badly influenced, because they are. we're doing some really sick stuff now, yeah? And a lot of that stuff, some of that sickness, most of it is coming out from Western culture. And Western culture is influencing the whole planet Earth. Because everybody wants to be westernized, right? And they don't think they need, people need to be themselves, right? But we need to emulate, or we need to imitate or copy other people, look like them, talk like them, and act like them. So we're going through that. It looks like we're going through all of that right now. Yeah? But like I said, Black America needs to talk about repairing where they are, in their backyard. Sort your stuff out. You show us that you're going to sort your stuff out, innit? There. Alright, we've got some problems here. I'm not going to say we ain't got no problems here in the UK, in the UQ, sorry, yeah? The British Isles, Little England, yeah? We got a share of problems here, but it's not as deep as what's in America. Yeah, Black America right now, yeah? And their story, alright, it may be slightly different from us, yeah? They've had more time, they've had more opportunities and all of this stuff, okay? Even Marcus Garvey came and showed them how to do things. Yeah? So what I'm saying is that we got to look at so many different things, yeah? Modern technology is taking over our lives, yeah? And if I ask you a question that is modern technology good or bad, yeah? And if it's good, what is the major problem? And once again, it's the fact that we don't control these technologies. Yeah? And, we got to find a way that we got to control it. Yeah? Or we got to find a way to counteract all of these stuff that's, it's affecting us. Because we're going to be affected, and it's going to affect our children. More importantly, because our children are seeing these changes, and if we're not telling them about these changes, that some of these changes, they're not good, right? But at the same time, you have to make them be aware that if we need to use certain things, that they've been given guidelines, they've been given thorough knowledge around these things, that these things are tools. They're just tools to use, yeah, to move things going forward. It's not there to socialise and chatting, chatting and all of this, and chatting all over rubbish. Yeah? Getting caught up in it. Yeah? So, we have a real problem with a lot of things. A lot of things. Yeah? We can't keep on doing some of this backward stuff, okay? That's taking us backwards. We can't be doing that, right? Also, you have to be talking about this system as a failing system. And if we talk about this system is a failing system, we say this is a failing system. This system is not it's not only not a good system. Yeah, I'm not talking about this planet Earth. This planet Earth is beautiful. I'm talking about the system that's been perpetuated, which is a killing field, right? And like I said, it's killing us off softly. Like I said, there's information out there I got out there. It's long, right? It's 45 pages long to do with quiet weapons, silent weapons, quiet wars, right? Read it. Anybody get that information, go and read it, right? Because they're telling you about the future, what they're going to do in the future, right? So when we're talking about the behavior of our people and how we need to address ourselves, okay, in the way that we need to be able to develop ourselves, what we need to be looking at is what is it that we need to do to change the system, because we have to think about looking at changing the system in order to evolve gradually out of this system by transformation out of this system. And so the question will be asked, how can we do this? Yeah, because if you're saying that we don't control certain things, yeah, you have to ask the question why and what we're going to do about it. And if you say that this system is not really a good system, why is it not good? Because it's not fair, right? It's not. We're not able to be in the system where we're on level ground, right? It's not level. This ground is, the way we're working. There's no way you can tell me, yeah. We don't make. Look, same plain and simple as that. You tell me any country, any individual from Africa, the Caribbean, wherever we are as black people, whether in Western society, whether it's United States of America, whether it's in Europe, whether it's Asia, Southeast Asia, right? Wherever we are, Russia, you know what I'm saying? Japan, China, whatever, right? You're going to tell me that we control something. We're controlling things, right? What are we controlling? We're not controlling anything. When are we going to get to the point when we are controlling things? It's when leaders stand up to other countries, yeah, who are bullying, yeah, their way through, alright? They're bulldozing their way through to get what they want. So what I'm saying is, okay, I don't expect government, I don't expect black leaders, African leaders, government leaders, okay, to take the same position as European leaders or as Arab leaders, because you're not them. You know what I'm saying? You're not Arab leaders, you're not Asian leaders, you're not European leaders, you're African leaders. If you want to call yourself Caribbean, that's what it is, yeah? But that's what you are. So what you need to do is act like yourself, act like what you're supposed to represent. Which is a natural order and way of being, natural way of life, yeah? You see what I'm saying? Which is the highest order, yeah? And we stick to that. Doesn't matter what they want to throw at us, and they want to say this and say that. If they want to defile nature, let them defile nature, their nature, not our nature. If they want to defile their nature, if they want to rape their little girls and their little boys, yeah, that's up to them. Let them do that if that's what they want. I personally think it's wrong. Yeah, I'm sure everybody thinks it's wrong. Yeah? See what I'm saying? Yeah? And if we was in a position to stop it, we would stop it. But we're not in a position to stop it. We can't go and stop these people from doing the things that they're doing to their own people, right? But what we need to do is focus on the things that our people are doing right now. The sick things that they're doing right now. I'm going to show to you why. What's happening. Why we become sicker and sicker. Yeah? So like I said, in order to change the system, because it has to be inevitable. You cannot perpetuate this killing field and tell me it's a good system, it's a fair system. You cannot tell me that we've got all this modern technology and we've got all this advancement, right? Yeah? But we're not able to control that either, right? You cannot tell me that on the international world stage, all right, we're actually negotiating and compromising laws and policies to protect our people, to protect our lands, to protect our resources, to protect our children and our women. I don't see that happening right now, right? So for me, if you want to keep on making the same mistake, that's why we got these leaders, black leaders, African leaders, okay, right? You got European governments, European corporations, Chinese governments, corporations, Russians, a lot of them, right? They got African and Caribbean politicians in their pockets. They're just 2 a penny. No, they're half a penny, right? Because these leaders in Europe and all they're like 2 a penny as well, right? But the ones the black ones are even half a penny, innit? You can buy them a lot cheaper. They're easy to bribe, a lot cheaper. They're cheaper to bribe, and you can get more out of them. That's all it is, yeah. You bribe these leaders in Africa and the Caribbean, you're gonna get much more, much more, right? And like I said, they're only living for today. They're not thinking about the future, right? I don't see that happening. Yeah, that's not happening. I don't see them talking about the next 5 years, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And they're talking for themselves. They're not talking about the Europeans setting up plans for them. When are they going to create their own plans? So when black people talk about in America, oh, and then Ghana's saying, yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. It's all sound bites because they haven't got no plans. They haven't got a process of how to get these sick people to a place where we need to be. Right? I'm going to show you how sick these people are. Right? Because you might have missed this one, and then I'm going to talk about this and I'm gone. Right? But I don't know how bad are we going to get? How bad are we going to get? Right? So, this story is so graphic, it's ridiculous. Yeah? But we need to expose this person, innit? For what it is. Yeah? Because he made a real fatal mistake. Right? And this is what's happening a lot of the time with some of our own people abusing their position and taking advantage. Let me see if I can get this article up now, just to let you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, because some of our people have gone really weird now. Really weird. Yeah? It's just not good. Yeah? And I think that I've got this article coming up right now. Look, college football star dropped by the Atlanta Falcons is arrested for child molestation and sodomy after his wife caught him standing over a 12-year-old girl with a you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to even say the word because I don't want to put that in your head, but you know what I'm saying is you probably get the picture. Yeah, but let me read this article off quickly. This is the sickness I'm talking about. Yeah, you got to deal with this. America, black America, you got to deal with some of this stuff that goes on. And you know, we got some of that stuff going on here, no doubt, but it's not so prevalent, you know what I'm saying, as much as in America. In America, you got we got some of the most sickest, craziest black people there. Yeah? And why? Because of the environment. I'm generalizing now. I'm generalizing. But what I'm saying is that environment is highly toxic for our people. That's why Marcus Garvey wanted to get the hell out of there. He knew he wasn't going to get anywhere there. He knew. And he had much more ambition. That's why he knew. He had the foresight, yeah, to see ahead of time. Right? And he could assess certain things. He could analyze certain things. He was that good. Right? So he wanted to get, if he could have done it, if he had the opportunity, if they didn't hold him back, if they didn't block him, right, and stitch him up and frame him and throw everything at him to stop him, right? Don't tell me that they didn't do that, because they did. You got to check this thing out. Yeah, they're not going to let a black man run off into the sunset with millions and millions of black people to rebuild up Africa. They're not, you know what I'm saying? And you know, reunite the whole of Africa and the Caribbean. They're not going to allow you to do that then, and they're still not allowing us to do that now, 100 years later. Right? That's what we're dealing with right here. Yeah? That's why we got so much puppet leaders. Yeah? So this article now, let's name his name. Justin Crawford. Justin Crawford, 23, was charged with aggravated child molestation and sodomy. Crawford's wife, Kenya, caught him standing over the young girl with an girl told police Crawford made her give him oral sex before they had intercourse. Crawford admitted to police they had sex but said it was the 12-year-old's idea. He signed as an undrafted free agent with Falcons but was dropped last month. A former college football star who was recently dropped from Atlanta Falcons has been arrested after he allegedly had sex with a 12-year-old girl. Now this is a black young man. Yeah? Look at him. Look at him. A former college football star. Where's he getting this from? Where's he getting this behavior from? Where's he getting it from? You could tell me this is not wrong. This is fine. This is alright. This is what's happening to our people. Yeah? This is the kind of people that's going to go to Africa. What are you talking about? Anyway, it was Crawford's wife, Kenya, the mother of his 2 young sons, who caught him around 5 a.m. on Saturday morning. Yeah? Crawford, a former West Virginia University football star, admitted to police he had oral sex and intercourse with a girl and claimed the sex was her idea. Anyway, his wife caught him in the act. Anyway, it says, when Kenya took the girl back to her mother, the preteen said she had been asleep in the living room when Crawford came in. She said Crawford had performed oral sex on him before they had intercourse. The 12-year-old was taken to hospital where doctors administered a rape kit to collect any DNA evidence. Crawford was arrested and is currently being held without bond at Muscogee County Jail. Anyway, it says there, I'm not interested in what he's done, right? Forget that. He's a bad dude now, isn't it? He's a bad character. Yeah, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Yeah? But when's this gonna stop, man? When is this gonna stop? When are we gonna really stop this, man? Really though. Yeah? We got to be, I don't know what to say, man. I really don't know what to say. All I know is, what I'm saying is that people are getting weirder and weirder and weirder. Yeah? And you got people trying to protect this kind of behavior, trying to defend it. It's not working. It doesn't matter what people want to say. This patriarchal system and its sexual violent depravity is it's gone way too far, man. Right? You got sick black people out there now, and they're getting sicker and sicker, and there's more and more of them. And now it's getting. This is a 23-year-old. Right? This is the young generation. Yeah? So all of this stuff that's going around, all this consciousness and all of this stuff is not working. Whatever it is, not working, is it? We're still producing these kind of sickness. Yeah? So really, we've got a lot of work. Black America's got a lot of work. Black England's got a lot of work. Yeah? And basically, you know, one of the things that really needs to happen, right, so we can align ourselves and back to our natural order of nature and respecting nature and all things natural. Yeah? You see what I'm saying? Because this, you've got people defiling nature. This is another person defiling nature. Don't respect nature. Because maybe no one ever taught him about nature. Yeah? So all he does is abuse it. You know what I'm saying? There's many people like him. There's some elders like him. There's one or two entertainers out there. Right? I'm not going to name them, but they're you know, there's one famous actor out there. There's a story going around that he's having an affair with his stepdaughter, his young underage stepdaughter, right? And he's been having an affair for a little while, and this will give you a clue. I think, you know, the boyfriend must have found out, and he murdered her and committed suicide. Yeah, this is what I'm saying, is all this sickness affects other people. It's not about, you got these individuals that they're saying, oh, we can do this sick stuff, yeah, and they'll defend it and say, oh, I've got a right to defend this sick stuff, right? But they don't realize that that sickness that they're suffering from, right, is going to affect other people, right? It's going to affect other people, right, in a detrimental way. Yeah? Nothing good is happening right now for us right now. Yeah? Nothing good. I can't see anything good. It's just the worst thing that's happening to us. Yeah? We've got poor leaders, right, giving us dirty, nasty food from China. Right? In America, the black America can't complain because your government's promoting and advocating GMO foods. Right? And they're pushing it in the Caribbean now as well. Right? GMO food, fake foods, and you know, foods that's not what it's supposed to be. You remember in this country, recently there was a big scandal about horse meat in the food chain. Because when it comes to making money, right, there's no scruples. There ain't no scruples, you know. Right? So we have to be very, very mindful of what's going on out here. Yeah? And be careful. Yeah? So, please, this euphoria over one film called The Black Panthers, yeah? Yeah? And this whole idea, right, if Africa and the Caribbean come together, you have to come with a plan, innit? Yeah? You have to have a process of how we need to get somewhere. Right? We can't be just winging it on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week or month-to-month. That's not happening. Why can't we have our own plan of action? It's you know, it's a unity plan or a collective plan around how we need to help each other and one another, okay, to be able to serve our own very interests, to be self-determined about the things that we need to do. We can't be following these people. we cannot be following a failing system. If a system is failing, it's failing, isn't it? Yeah? It's a patriarchal system. A patriarchal dominated system run by old white men. Right? These old white brigade men, right? They're perpetuating the same behavior from generation to generation. So what's happening is that they're gonna the positions are gonna be replaced by the same type of people's behaviors. Right? That's why nothing's changing. You can't change the system because you ain't gonna be able to change it because it's fixed. You could say it's cemented generationally. So as you know, so what I'm saying is, look, right? In order to change the system, we have to evolve gradually out of this system by transformation out of this system. We have to transform ourselves as a collective. We have to change our behaviors. We have to clean house. We have to clean our behaviors. We have to have principles, high principles and values. We have to go back to nature, a natural order, a universal natural order of way of being. Yeah? And then the process of how we can repair ourselves is we build our own industries, we build our own institutions. We'll design it and tailor it to our very needs and wants. We'll cater for the needs and the wants of our people based on what they want, not based on a few people in the world that want to run the world the way that they want to run it. They want to dictate it. Do you get what I'm saying? So we got to change. We've got to think about making changes, right? Before those changes, as you can tell, lead us in the wrong place where it's destroying us. It's destroying our natural way of being, yeah? It's destroying our families. It's destroying our communities, our societies. We don't have a society. We live in somebody else's societies. But we need to have our own societies. Yeah? And we need to be not just looking at what other groups are just doing, but we need to be looking at what we need to be doing. Yeah? And not following, you know, we've got to stop the following. We're following everybody else, right? But it's going nowhere. Why? Because we need our own direction. We need to focus on going on our own direction. We've got to leave these people to their own devices. If they want to go and do this sick stuff and kill out themselves, and they want to mash up the whole world, they want to depopulate the whole world, they want to poison everybody. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah? And they want to kill people off. Right? Yeah? And they want to rape little children and rape little boys. And, you know, in certain places, that's acceptable to them. And so they will turn a blind eye on that. You see, that goes on all the time. Yeah? And they don't want to fix that. They don't want to fix their own problems, and we're watching them. Why are we watching them? They don't want to fix their own problems. Yeah? Because what they're trying to do, right, they're going to create a purge. Right? They're creating a purge. Yeah? So they're not interested in protecting life. They're not interested in protecting life. Yeah? You can see that. Okay? And like, people around the world shouldn't have to suffer that. Alright, so look, I've gone way over my time. I want to say thank all the listeners out there for tuning in. Let me just double check I haven't received any more text. Oh, one announcement. I must give out one announcement. I've got loads of announcements, but just the time. But yeah, I want to big up for those people that's putting in work, keeping our community busy. Alright? Focused. and working towards better things. All right. Anyway, Gene Sunday African Culture Market, as you know, helping unity in the community every third Sunday of each month and second Sunday every second month. You got a showcase platform with invited guests, and you can be there talking about all kinds of things, local talent, spoken words and poetry, and there'll be people networking around businesses and services, and it's all about engaging and socializing, relating with people who are, we're all on the same page, generally speaking, yeah? And we're talking about finding ways to improve ourselves and spreading the black power and black love, black unity, yeah? So yeah, there's 2 addresses I've got here. One for Loughborough Centre, 105 Angel Road, Brixton, SW9.
Accept your own and be yourself. Genesis Radio thanks you for your visit.
I've got no mouse. Hold on.
If you use your phone while you're driving and it's not hands-free, the penalty's been doubled. It's now 6 points and £200. The trouble is, a lot of us are addicted to our phones. So try this trick. Put your phone somewhere where you can't pick it up.
Yeah?
Somewhere you can't see it.
Next week,
The glove compartment. That way, you won't be tempted. Save yourself 6 points and £200. Maybe even save a life. Make the glove compartment the phone compartment. Think. Put your phone away.
Cirque Live, Davina Star, Rose Ends and Team Buzzwalk proudly presents Bucky Joe. The Reverend's album launch party, Sunday 18th of November 2018, to be held at the Brixton Jam, 261 Brixton Road, SW9 6LA, live on stage. Bucky Joe himself alongside special guests, Little Roy, Christopher Ellis, Bonnie Lili, Jimmy London, Tenor Star, Daddy Freddy, Real African Queenie Empress, Soros, and loads more. All backed by the Cotton Clear Band, music by Sir Alan Brando, Mr. Mighty, Russ Wonder, and Sarah C. Hosted by Commander B and Alison Mason. Doors opening from 7 p.m. and showtime is...
I'm just saying now, yeah? Gene's African Culture Market. The dates, I think the next one's going to be the 11th of November. No. The 18th of November. Right, yeah, Loughborough Centre, 105 Angel Road, Brixton, SW9, 7PD. Anyway, for further information, go to 079 61 886 032. Alright? And I want to say big up to all the people out there, Mac1, Andrews, Special ED, Edition Marsha, Samara, my daughter, Shireen, my daughter, and Dwayne Ash, my son. All the family out there, all the loved ones out there, big up to those ones who've lost ones recently. Condolences, hearts and minds goes out to those people out there, because we know that this time of the year is not the best time for some of our people. Main thing is try and eat healthy. Get as much nutrients in your body to build up your immune system every time. Keep warm and just be with people all the time, because I hear there's a lot of people that's passing away and they're not being discovered for days. Okay, so just be closer together, just be more closer like how we used to be back in the old days. Yeah, just bring that energy back, alright? Because I don't think it's good for people to be sort of dying and no one knows about it for days. Yeah, there's something wrong with that. Yeah, I think I've been hearing a lot of things around that. So we need to look out more for each other, look out for us, our elderly, yeah, as well as our children, we have to really keep an eye out for them, yeah? Really do, okay? And there's always good things going on, yeah? I want to make sure that everyone hears this message, right? There's a lot of good things going on, yeah? I'm not here to promote, to purport, or to talk about things that may be an issue or maybe a problem or maybe concerning, and not just talking about all the good things out there. I'm just talking about things just happening right now. I'm just dealing with the facts, yeah? If you want me to talk about airy Mary for fairy stories, you can't hear the mic. Hold on. Alright, so that's an old text, I think. Hold on. Alright, so yeah. Tune in next week, next time. Like I said, go to Sayshara. I'm open to build a lot better relationship with the Genesis listening audience. So just bear with me. Give it some time. Give us some time here on Genesis, alright? Give us your support. And obviously the more support that we can get, the more that we can do. Yeah? And we can help each other. Alright? So I want to say, for the rest of your days, may your days be peaceful and you'll have a safe time and you'll focus on the things that you want in life, right? So I want to say, yeah, definitely thanks for tuning in, for taking the time for tuning in. I think maybe next week I'll be looking to talk about the relationship that we have with our black leaders, and why is it that the leadership hasn't changed that much. It hasn't really changed that much. It looks like it's the same type of leadership that we have. And when I say change, I mean we need to evolve from the type of leadership that we've got right now. And we haven't developed the kind of leadership that we really need to get us where we need to get to, because we've still got a type of westernized, European-ized, institutionalized leadership that's following a failing system. So I'm going to leave you on that. Big up every time. Sayshara says, till next time, I'm out.